Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
श्री वैष्णव ठाकुर की जय श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This Vaishnava song is written by Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur himself. So for his pleasure, we will sing this Vaishnava song. Krishna hoite chaturmukha, hoye Krishna sevonmukha, Brahma hoite narade ramati.
Krishna hoite chaturmukha, hoy Krishna seva mukha, Brahma hoite narade ma.
Krishna hoite chaturmukha, hoye Krishna sevonmukha, Brahma hoite narade ramati. नारदा होयते व्यासा मध्वको हे व्यासदासा पूर्ण प्रज्ञा पद्मनाभ गाति
नारद होइते व्यास
नर हरि माधवंशे अक्षोभ्य परमहंसे शिष्य बोली अंगीकार कोरे शिष्य बोले अंगीकार अक्षोभ्येर शिष्य जय तीर्थ नामे परिचय तारदासे ज्ञान सिंधु तोरे ताहा होते दयानिधि तारदास विद्यानिधि राजेंद्र होइलो ताहा हाते ताहार किंकर जय धर्म नामे परिचय परंपरा जानो भालो माते जय धर्मदासे ख्याति श्री पुरुषोत्तम जाति ताहा हते ब्राह्मण्य तीर्थ सूरी श्री पुरुषोत्तम जाति व्यास तीर्थ तारादास लक्ष्मीपति व्यासदास ताहा होते माधवेंद्र पुरी माधवेंद्र पुरी भरा शिष्य भर श्रीश्वर नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत विभू ईश्वर पुरी के धन्य कोरिले श्री चैतन्य जगत गुरु गौर महाप्रभु ईश्वर पुरी के धन्य कोरिले न श्री चैतन्य जगत गुरु गौर महाप्रभु
पुरी के धन्य कोरिले न श्री चैतन्य जगत गुरु गौर महाप्रभु
महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण नाहे अन्य रूपानुग जाने राजीवाना
महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण नाही अन्य रूपानुगा जाने जीवाना
विश्वंभर प्रियंकर श्री स्वरूप दामोदर श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन श्री रूप दामोदर रूप प्रिय महाजना जीव रघुनाथ हय तार प्रिय कवि कृष्ण दास कृष्णदास प्रिय वर नरोत्तम सेवा पर जारपद विश्वनाथ आशा Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tarapriya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tarapriya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Hari Bhajane Te Jara Moda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Hari Bhajane Te Jara Moda Ihara Paramahamsa Gaurangera Nija Vamsha Tandera Charane Mamagati Ihara Paramahamsa Gaurangera Nija Vamsha Tandera Charane Mamagati Ami Seva Udasina Namete Tridandi Dina Shri Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Ami Seva Udasina Namete Tridandi Dina Shri Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Shri Varshavana Vivara Sada Sevya Seva Para Taharada Ita Dasanama Shri Varshavana Vivara Sada Sevya Seva Para Taharada Ita Dasanama Tara Pradapachara Ko Shri Bhakti Vedanta Namo Patita Janete Doya Dhamma Tara Pradhan Prachara Ko Shri Bhakti Vedanta Namo Patita Janete Doya Dhamo Krishna hote chaturmukha hoye Krishna sevonmukha Brahma hote Narade Ramati Narada hoyete Vyasa Madhva kohe Vyasa Dasa Purna Prajna Padmanabha Ghati Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Jaya
Hare
Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur
Jaya Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol
Shri Bhaktisidhhanta Swami Thakur ki Shri Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai
Hare Krishna tava punyah bebhai Krishna tava punyah bebhai Krishna tava punyah bebhai
Krishna Tava Punya Bebai
ये पुण्य करिबे जाबे राधा रानी सुखी हबे
पुण्य करिबे जाबे राधा रानी खुश होबे
ध्रुवाती बोली तो माताई
ध्रुवाती बोले तो माताई
श्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती सचिसुत प्रियाति
चंदा सरस्वती सचिसुता प्रियादि
कृष्ण से व्यादार तुलनाई
कृष्ण से प्यारा तुलनाई
से मोहंत गुरु जगतेरा मध्य उरु से मोहंत गुरु जगतेरा मध्य उरु कृष्ण भक्ति दे ताई ताई
कृष्ण भक्ति दे ताई ताई
तारा इच्छा बलवान पाश्चाते तान
इच्छा बलवान पाश्चाते तेन दान
होए जाते गौरांगेर नामा
होई जेते गौरांगेर नामा
पृथिवी ते नगरादि असमुद्र नदनादि
पृथ्वी चे नागरादि असमुद्र नदनादि
सकले बोले कृष्ण राम
सकले लोये कृष्ण नाम
तहलते आनंद होय तबे होय दिग्विजय हले आनंद होय चैतन्य कृपा अतिशाय
चैतन्य कृपा अतिशाय
माया दुष्ट जत दुखी जगते सभाई सुखी
माया दृष्ट जगत दुखी जगत सभाई सुखी
वैष्णवेरा इच्छा पूर्ण होया
वैष्णवेरा इच्छा पूर्ण होया से
कार्य जे कोरी बारे आज्ञा जदि दिलो मोरे आज्ञा योग्य नहीं आती दीना ही ना
योग्यता नहीं आती दीना
ताई से तुम्हारा कृपा मागते छे अनुरूपा
तुम्हारा कृपा जगते छे अनुरूपा
आज तुम्ही साबारा प्रवीण
आज तुम्ही साबारा पृथ्वी
तुम्हारे से शक्ति फैले गुरु सेव्या वस्तु मिले जीवन सार्थक जदि होया से सेवा पाइले ताले ताले दुखी होई ताले सेवा पाइले ताले
ताले सुखिल हाले
तब संग भाग्य ते मिलो
तब संग भाग्य ते मिलो
एवं जनं निपतितं प्रभवापि कूपे कामाभिकाममनुया प्रपतन् प्रसंगा कृत्वात्मसात् सुरर्षिणा भगवन् गृहीता सोहम कथम न विसृजे तव भृत्य सेवा तुम्ही मोरा चिरा साथी भूलिया मायार लाठी खायाची जन्म जन्मांतरे
जन्म जन्मांतरे
आजी पोई से जो योगा जदि होया जोगा योगा आजी
बोनाये जय योगा
तबे पारी तो ना है मिलबारे
तबे पारी तू है मिले बारे
तुम्हारे मिलाने बाय आबार से सुख पाए
तुम्हारे मिलाने बाय आबार से सुख पाए
गोचराने घूरी दिन भोरे
गोचराने घूरी दिन भोरे
काटा बाने छूटा छुटी बाने खाई लूटा लूटी
काटा बाने छोटा छोटे बाने खाई लोटा पोते
से दिन कबे हबे मोरा आज से सुविधा ला तुम्हारा शरण भिलावे
से सुविधा
বড় আশা দাখিলাম থাই আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি তো আশায় তোমা বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
তোমা বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি তো আশায় তোমা বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
তোমা বিনা অন্য গতি নাই
কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে ভাই
কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে ভাই
এ পুণ্য করিবে যাবে রাধা রানী সুখী হবে
পুণ্য করিবে যাবে রাধা রানী খুশি হবে
ধ্রুবাতি বলি তো মাতাই
ধ্রুবাতি বলি তো মাতাই
শ্রী সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী সচি সুত প্রিয়াতি
সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী সচি সুত প্রিয়াতি
কৃষ্ণ সেব্য দার তোলন্তাই
কৃষ্ণ সেব্য তার তোলনাই
সেই সে মোহন্ত গুরু জগতের মধ্যে উরু
সেই সে মহন্ত গুরু জগতের মাতে উরু
কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি দে থাই থাই
কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি দে তাই তাই
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে হরে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে
जय भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees to the 150th anniversary celebrations of Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. So we would like to request first His Grace Anandmai Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, to kindly come and speak on Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. His Grace Anandmai Prabhu ki jai.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Vasyaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvesesha Sunnavadi Pastyata Devatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vasyaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Namine. Today is the most auspicious day of the appearance, 150th appearance of Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. So this morning we heard a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, glorifying his own guru, Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. Hare Krishna. Whenever there is Vyas Puja, celebrating the appearance of a particular Acharya, we have to understand that glorification is not only for a particular Acharya, but it is also glorification of the entire line, disciplic succession. So when we speak about Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, we should glorify all the spiritual masters, starting from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the subsequent spiritual masters in this line of descent. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, today we are celebrating his Vyas Puja. We also should remember that he is one very important link in the disciplic succession. So in this way, the entire disciplic succession should be glorified. Because it is not possible to glorify all the acharyas in just a few minutes. So we concentrate today on the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is a contribution to the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This morning we heard a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, glorifying his own spiritual master, not as ordinary mortal. Everybody is taking birth at a certain time, and then we pass away after a few years, depending on our karma. But the pure devotee, the Acharya, is not subjected to the ordinary rules of the conditioned life. He appears by the will of Krishna and disappears also by Krishna's will, and again reappears in a different place, different universe, for the same mission of teaching the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. As Srimad Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna 5,000 years ago, and then it has come in this from master to master, spiritual master to spiritual master. In this way, it has come down to this time. We have received a message from Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, the same message as spoken by Lord Krishna. So this is very essential. Tadvidhi paripatena paripasina sevaya parikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadashinaha. It is not possible to become enlightened without approaching a spiritual master. So in this way, we should understand the importance of the appearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who has come in this Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Apparently, for ordinary people, he is like considered like a son, the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is a fourth son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But he is not ordinary son. There were other sons and daughters also, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a special prayer to Bimla Devi that kindly give me a son who will be an acharya, who will be able to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya and continue this mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appeared in the year 1874 as the mercy of Bimla Devi, the consort of Lord Jagannath, to establish or to propagate the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From the beginning of his appearance, there were some very extraordinary happenings, such as when he appeared, he had this umbilical cord, just like a Brahmin thread, on his body. Then, at the time of Rath-yatra, the Ratham of Lord Jagannath stopped in front of the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur on the Grand Road, and the rat would not move. It was stuck there, not moving for such a long time. And the wife of Bhaktivinoda Thakur carried Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in her arms and went upon the Ratham. And one flower garland from Lord Jagannath fell down, and to garland Bhaktisiddhanta at that time, Bimal Prasad. So Bimal Prasad received the blessings of Lord Jagannath right from the very beginning. So many things, many happenings, many extraordinary events are part of the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was very extraordinary. Yes. Yeah.
హరే కృష్ణ. ఎవరికైనా తెలుగు ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ సీతాకాంత్ ప్రభు వెనకాల కూర్చున్నారు, అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి కూర్చోవచ్చు ఎవరికైనా తెలుగులో ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ కావాలంటే. హరే కృష్ణ.
So at the beginning of his life, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur became very famous as an astrologer, Jyotish. He went to Calcutta and studied Jyotish under some famous Pandit and became himself the greatest Pandit of his time. So he made commentary on the Surya Siddhanta, and then the Pandits, they called him, started to call him Siddhanta Saraswati, because he was so learned that he got his title of Siddhanta Saraswati. So many meetings, many lectures he had given, and he became very famous like this in Calcutta and surrounding areas. But then his Bhaktivinoda Thakur reminding him of the final objective of life. Astrology is certainly a branch of Vedic philosophy, but it is not the ultimate. It is only science of this material world, how the different planets are circumambulating the sun and influencing the life of the universe in their different positions. They can be predicted and so on. But Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati was not so much interested in predictions. Because like many astrologers, they earn their living. People come to them, please tell me what is my future. Okay, give me 5,000 rupees, I'll tell you. You come tomorrow. That is their livelihood. But Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati was not like that. He was like a scientist, not trying to achieve any material benefit out of his knowledge. As soon as you combine knowledge and money, that knowledge is destroyed. Similarly, as soon as you become bold or arrogant, proud of your knowledge, that knowledge also becomes useless. So all these principles from beginning, Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati followed in his life from up to the end of his life. As far as money is concerned, once you require funds to build temples, but he was confident that Lord Krishna will help. You need not worry about that. He was telling his disciples, don't worry about how money will come. Lord Krishna will see to that. If you are sincerely dedicated to your mission, then Lord Krishna will help. Otherwise, if you are simply here in the temple for going every day and getting a few rupees and purchasing sabji, chapati, rice, and cooking, eating, and sleeping, that is not our mission. Our mission is different. We don't want to entertain here in this temple built by the Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We don't want to promote, or we don't want to entertain or to maintain such brahmacharis or even sannyasis who are simply looking after themselves. How much I can eat and how much I can sleep nicely, peacefully. No, that is not our mission. Hare Krishna, Radhesham Prabhu ki jai. He is a real preacher, fully dedicated to preaching activities, a successor of Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. He gave an example that the farmer is maintaining cows, but farmer is not interested in bad cows. The cow should be good. Even if it is one cow giving milk, then that is enough. That is all right. Other bad cows, they are not necessary to maintain bad cows. So Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati used this example. We want only good devotees, sincere devotees, who can dedicate their life for preaching activities and serving the spiritual master according to his instructions. We don't want bad elements. Better to have a few sincere disciples engaged in preaching activities rather than hundreds of so-called followers. That was his motto. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took Diksha from Srila Babaji on the instruction of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But when he approached Gorkishore Das Babaji, Gorkishore Babaji was not willing. And thinking that, no, I don't want to accept such a disciple, so he refused to give Diksha. But again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur put pressure on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati at that time. And so Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur told Gopal Babaji that if you don't give me Diksha, how will I maintain my life? If you don't give me your mercy, how can I maintain my life? So it became a serious argument. And Gopal Babaji understood the mood. He understood here is a serious disciple, this aspiring disciple who is thinking very sincerely that my life depends upon your mercy. So he took it seriously and he gave Diksha to him. So from that time, he became known as Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati. So he, at that time, he was chanting Hare Krishna, in the Mayapur, in the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then his spiritual master, Gokul Shodas Babaji, told him that don't remain in seclusion. You are meant for preaching. Now you have received Diksha and you can go to Calcutta. Calcutta, so many people are there. You propagate the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Calcutta and other places. That will be your life. So in this way, Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur had some turn in his life, thinking first of all, let me become perfect in chanting Hare Krishna. He had made a vow for 10 years. How many? 10 billions? 10 billions of names. Chanting every day. 180 rounds or something like that. He had made a plan to, for 10 years, to stay there in Mayapur chanting Hare Krishna without any facility whatsoever. He had there was no Pakka construction, only some little roof. That roof also during rainy season was leaking water. So he was keeping an umbrella in this way without any facility whatsoever. Eating once a day little rice and spending it day and night chanting Hare Krishna. So we cannot imagine how much renunciation. First of all, he became famous as a knowledgeable person, extraordinary knowledge. But that knowledge coupled with renunciation, extraordinary renunciation. Throughout his life, he executed the principles of sannyas. Later on, he took sannyas at the age of 44. At that time, he could not find any sannyasi to give him sannyas. So what to do? Then he took a photo of his Guru Maharaj, and in front of his Guru Maharaj, he did the ceremony of sannyas, diksha, receiving sannyas in this way from his spiritual master. So he was very strict. For instance, he made other disciples also sannyasis, and he told them that sannyasi should not take any facility for himself. Sometimes a sannyasi becomes sick, needs medicine. But if a sannyasi goes out to purchase medicine, he should not use the vehicle, the temple vehicle that is meant for preaching only. If a sannyasi needs medicine, he cannot use that vehicle. He should go by foot. He should not put his shoes also. He should go bare feet, go to a shop and take some medicine. No question of using the temple facilities. He was so strict that it is difficult for us to imagine and to follow this type of instructions left by Sri Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. I cannot speak so much. Many other speakers will be there. Just I would like to mention something regarding the Gaudiya Math. Gaudiya Math made a flourish beginning by the 1920s. It was flourishing, but gradually the Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur could understand that quite a few of his disciples were taking advantage, staying in the mat. Just like to give an example, in Mayapur, on Ekadasi, he gave instruction to one disciple, you go to the market and purchase sabji. Then the disciple he replied, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, they are fasting. I cannot go to the market. I'm fasting today. What kind of disciple are you? Simple instruction you cannot follow. So anyway, so many like this. He had many experiences of his disciples. They are not very strong, especially preaching enthusiasm, but not their real case. Some of his disciples were good preachers. And they were very much interested in book printing and book distribution. And some other disciples were more interested in temple management and maintaining good bank balance and good eating, sleeping facilities in the temples. So these two types of disciples were there. And so he understood some of the first type of disciple is following Guru Vani. Guru Vani. And the second type of disciple is Vapu. Vapu Seva. So Vani Seva, Vapu Seva. He understood like this and he explained that most important is Vani Seva. Vapu Seva can be there, but that should be only meant to understand what is Vani. From Vapu Seva should be promoted to Vani Seva, that is the ultimate Seva. In this way, he understood that the different types of disciples are there, engaged in different activities in the service of the spiritual master, but he always gave importance to Vani Seva, even though Vapu Seva may be there also. But ultimately, he also understood that those who are engaged in Seva, sometimes they become proud, they become puffed up, and they start fighting among themselves, especially at the time of the building of the Mat in Calcutta, became the head, most important temple in Calcutta, in, what is that? Bazaar, Bag Bazaar. Bag Bazaar. So one famous aristocrat, very rich businessman, he had donated the money to build a temple, and it's a very big temple, very beautiful, and he had kept marble also everywhere. So in 1935, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, they were in Vrindavan, and Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur was confiding. He was telling Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, that we have constructed this temple, Bag Bazaar temple, with a marble and so on. But I am not satisfied. I can see that my disciples, they are simply hankering. I want this room. No, I want this room. No, get out. I'll take this room only. These were fighting for these different rooms to occupy, to ascertain and to occupy and to manage the temple in this way. he was not happy about this type of conduct. So he was telling Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, now what I want to sell, I'm ready to sell this marble. Out of the money, I will print books and distribute. That will be more valuable. So we can understand that we want to glorify Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to be Acharya, ideal Acharya, spiritual master, who is not only extraordinary in the field of knowledge, he was a walking encyclopedia. He has spent a lot of his time in studying different books in libraries, and just by looking, just in one moment, he reads one page, another page like this, and that remained vivid, living in his memory, not forgetting anything. Whenever he was giving lectures, always quoting for various shastras, with extraordinary memory and knowledge. So he had a lot of opposition, and he could defeat the opposition by quoting from Shastra, and in this way establishing on a very firm footing the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this philosophy. He had many opponents, some of them the Apasampradayas, these easygoing Sankirtan players who were dancing without following any rigid principle in their spiritual life. Apasampradaya, they had been condemned already by Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur. Another type of opposition, the Smarta class, especially Brahmanas, Smarta Brahmanas, who were considering that the Brahmanas, Smarta Brahmanas, were Brahmana by birth. They only have the right to become spiritual masters. They can become acharyas. They are already acharya by birth. Following Nityananda or Advaita Prabhu, they are acharya by birth. Nobody else can be acharya, especially those who have not taken birth in Brahmana families. They cannot become acharyas. There is another type of opposition, the Smarta community. They were very strong, very well established in Bengal at that time. And the other type of opposition, the rulers, British rulers from Christian background, they were not convinced about the genuineness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, considering that this all hodgepodge philosophy, there is no basis, only we follow only Jesus Christ. We cannot follow anything else. So all this opposition, they met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati on many occasions. Many different meetings were organized on many occasions, and on individual dialogues also were arranged. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, every time he could influence, he could defeat, if not 100% defeat, at least he was impressive, very impressive for the audience, either individual audience or a group audience. He was very powerful in his delivery. In this way, he established himself as the most powerful Acharya after Bhaktivedanta Thakur, and he gave power to his disciples to continue the mission, and especially to our spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So I want to give more time for others to speak. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Avirbhav Titi Maho Mahotsav Ki Jai.
So thank you, His Grace Anandmay Prabhu. Now I request His Grace Radhesham Prabhu to Please come and speak about. Proji is asking Hindi or English. कितने लोगों को हिंदी में चाहिए? थोड़ा ही ले. English. अच्छा, more or English.
Hare Krishna. This is what. This is not what. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvannmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Sri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today is the most auspicious appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's the 150th year. Some of you might have seen the poster of Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, coming for the festival and glorifying Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Such a wonderful thing to happen, because the Prime Minister of the country is recognizing the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and one of the most prominent acharyas in that line, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Is it loud enough for those in the last row there? You can hear? You all can hear? Okay. You see, on such days like today, we have to take the time out to understand our strong sense of belonging to the upline. For example, every one of you sitting here, you have experience. You feel a sense of belonging to your mother or father, or grandmother or grandfather. Like we used to go to in the village to our grandparents' place. So that is one of the most memorable times for us, when you spend time with the grandfather, grandmother. Similarly, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is our great-grandfather. He is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual father, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So how does that sense of belonging to the Acharya develops? For that one has to hear about him, hear about his activities, hear about his teachings, hear about his greatness. Then we'll know the art of how to recognize the Acharya, how to honor him, and how to follow him. Because we cannot recognize the Acharya without knowing his activities. That is why on the auspicious days like today, we hear about his great prowess and activities in the line of Gaudiya Sampradaya, what he has done. The more we hear, the more we relish. So I have a 1 hour movie with me. I will share it with someone who can send it to all. Should I share it with Murali Gopinath Prabhu? We will send to all of you. If possible, before tonight, you can see that on this day. It's a movie about Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. Very beautiful movie. Our whole life history. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, when he descended in this world and distributed the love of God profusely to all the people, at that time there was like a flood which inundated the whole country. By his singing of the Mahamantra, by his dancing, by his very effective preaching and everything. Following him were the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Dasa Raghunath. And after them, there were 3 very prominent personalities, Srinivasa Acharya, Shyamananda Pandit, and Narottama Das Thakur. Narottama Das Thakur even made the king of Manipur into devotee. And Srinivasa Acharya also made Birambir. He was a king. He made him into a devotee. Today also you go to Odisha, Shyamananda Pandit, whole Odisha knows him very well. People know Shyamananda Pandit very well. So he propagated Krishna consciousness very effectively, very nicely. But down the line, after these 3 personalities, they even compiled all the Gaudiya literature. They took it in bullock cart. They even distributed on the order of Janava Devi, who is the consort of Lord Nityananda. All that happened. But subsequently, after these great personalities, there was an unfortunate period where powerful Vaishnavas were not available in the planet. And our Vaishnava path was taken over by certain people called as Apasampradayis. So they are listed as 13 of them. Gauranga Nagari, Sakibeki, like that there are 13 Apasampradayas. And each of them came up with very concocted, misconstrued philosophies. For example, Gauranga Nagari, when you say, these people consider Lord Chaitanya as a paramour lover. They dress like gopis and they say we want to have a loving relation with Lord Gauranga. Actually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, it's true, Radha Krishna combined. But when he came as sannyas, he was very strict with women. Prabhupada says he never, you will always read the pastimes of Mahaprabhu either in Navadvip or in Gambhira. Always he is surrounded by other males. So, but these people, Gauranga Nagari, concocted that we will have a loving relation with Gauranga. Similarly, the Sakibeki people, they were males, but they would wear saris and keep tulasi on their head and they would dance like females, saying that, we are adopting Sakivesh so that Krishna will be attracted to us. According to the Shastra, you should not put external Sakivesh. That is supposed to be a bhava, Manjari bhava or Saki bhava. It's an internal state of consciousness. But the Sakiveki people were pretending to be very exalted devotees. They were sahajiyas. And they were characterless. And gradually in this way, these upper sampradaya people, different people, and their upper sampradaya, you do bhakti, but then you merge in Brahman. This kind of wrong things. Many sampradayas came. So, what followed was 200-300 years of period. Many of these upper sampradaya people wore white color Babaji vesh, claiming to be Babaji, keeping beard, keeping mustache, long flowing hair, and doing Nirjan Bhajan, they used to call it. Nirjan Bhajan means go to Dham in a secluded place and thousands of people come to worship you and do puja for you, and they wanted to become popular. This was going on for a while. There were two more very famous personalities in our land, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So Baladev Vidyabhushan strengthened our sampradaya by giving the Govinda Bhashya. Because Lord Govinda, Radha Govinda, themselves dictated Govinda to him. And then he wrote that, and then Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya became respectable and acceptable. And Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is a Rasika Acharya in our land, and he also gave such amazing commentaries, laudable commentaries, which are appreciated by many learned people. Again, Babaji's continued after that. So in our land, that means 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya appeared, until Bhakti Vinod Thakur appeared. You see in between line, it's unfortunately the Vaishnavism was in wrong hands at that time, and a lot of disreputation to the Vaishnavas. So much so that Mayavadis became very strong, and they started becoming critical of Vaishnava culture. And they said Vaishnava means hypocritical, and nobody can put faith in them, and they are not of the standard, they are into all bad habits. So everybody rejected. So nobody would want to call themselves a Vaishnava at that time. It was such a predicament. At that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared. Therefore, OBL Kapoor, Sanyal, I think, he called him as a seventh Goswami. Six Goswamis appeared many centuries ago, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur did one revolution when he became an Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What was his revolution? He understood that the Vaishnava literature and Vaishnava lifestyle is in the wrong hands. Now I have to show the people what is real Vaishnava culture. So he published more than 100 books, and he had many meetings with refined gentlemen who were senior citizens, who had set ideas about what God is, religion is. But by his very nice dealing with them, he talked to them and brought them to the Vaishnava path. For example, at that time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, people were thinking that this Bhagavatam 10th canto pastimes of Krishna, they are all meant for children, just like you see Little Krishna nowadays, movies. So many people didn't take this pastime seriously. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is it good or is it not loud enough? Is this good or that one good? All right? Okay. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote a book called as Krishna Samhita, where he presented all the pastimes of the 10th canto, and he showed the people how, besides the sweetness of these pastimes, they also have a deep lesson on our anartha in our heart to be learned. Our heart is actually like it's like Vrindavan. Like Lord Chaitanya says, Moramana Vrindavan. So it's Vrindavan, but in Vrindavan many demons come. Similarly, in our heart also demons come. And how each of the 21 demons represents different anarthas. And when he published that, it became so hit amongst the scholars, and their respectability of Bhagavatam really shot up. People started appreciating Bhagavatam after that. Similarly, there were people who were followers of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, called Brahmoism. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote another book called Prema Pradipa. This Prema Pradipa is targeted towards Brahmoism, and also Arya Samajis and this Brahmoism. These people, he writes a very beautiful story of two boys coming to a Guru's ashrama, and the Guru is a yogi and all that. The final conclusion, he brings them to Vaishnava. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did this type of refined literary work by which he was bringing people to Vaishnavism, even a very intellectually astute people he was bringing in his times. At the same time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also saw this Apasampradaya people. They used to sing very sweet songs. Very melodiously they will sing. So many of the masses were drawn towards them. They were getting cheated because it looked very attractive for them. So then he started writing Vaishnava songs. Saragayama Kilatileka Gaura Milena, that kind of songs. So same type, like the Owl Bowl. People used to sing some songs. He made in similar meter, scolding them and taunting them and correcting them, that give up your apasampradaya behavior and follow the proper sampradaya, trying to bring them. So, therefore, you find Gaurakishodas Babaji at that time, he used to go and sit and hear from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was very appreciative because a refined pure Vaishnava will only want to hear from another pure Vaishnava. They may not want to like to hear from any Tom, Dick and Harry. Because Gaurakish Babaji used to sing one song, Gaurarame, Gaurarame, Mukhe bolile nahi chale, Gaurara achara, Gaurara vichara, Loila phala phale, Loka lekana, Gaura bhaja, Tilaka matra dhari, Gopane te atyachara, Gaur dhare churi. Like that he used to sing a song. Meaning of the song is, don't just say Gaura Rami, I am Lord Gauranga's man. Don't just claim. Muke bolil nahi chale. Simply saying with the mouth will not do. Gaurara achar, Gaurara vichar is saying. Gaurara achar means sadachar. You should follow the behavior of Lord Gauranga, and you also have to follow the teachings and the Siddhanta taught by Gauranga. Both are important. And then he's saying, Loka dekana, he's saying, wearing a very beautiful tilaka just to show off to the people, but not following Gauranga's path. That you cannot do, because Gauranga knows very well who is who, because he is Lord Krishna himself. And he will expose you. So in this way he used to write songs. So he was against hypocrisy, Gaurakish Babaji. And the same manner, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also against hypocrisy. So they became very close. So he became a follower of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur told his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that you should take initiation from him. I am your father. So it's better that you take initiation from Gaurakish Babaji. He is a pure soul. In Swanan Sugada Kunja, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur would speak, he would come to hear Gaurakish Babaji. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, seeing the situation of the country and all the Apasampradaya is expanding, he cried out to the Lord and prayed, please give me a ray of Vishnu who will be extremely powerful enough to destroy all this evil and establish the pure Siddhanta in such a manner that the world will recognize the true Vaishnavism. So, when Lord's pure devotees like Bhaktivinoda Thakur pray, naturally Lord pays heed to that. And then Lord sent the great personality, Bimal Prasad. So Bimal Prasad is the name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he was a small baby, newborn baby. So, because he was a High Court magistrate, the chariot, when it was going in the grand road, it stopped at the home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wife, Bhagavati Devi, she was immediately escorted by many people because he is High Court magistrate. High Court magistrate was respectable next to Viceroy, a very big personality. So she was escorted to the chariot, and she brought the child and kept the child at the lotus feet of Jagannath, and the garland fell, encircling the child's neck, which shows the Jagannath's special grace upon this child. So it's not an ordinary child. It's a very divine Acharya child. That is Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. When Bimal Prasad was just 7 years old, his father engaged him in editing the Sajjan Toshini. Can you imagine? Can a 7-year-old boy edit? So he was editing. By the age 7, he had memorized all the 700 shlokas of the Gita. He was very learned in also astronomy, astrology, Sanskrit, poetry. In fact, in his school, he was scolded by the teacher because he found the mistakes in the teacher's teaching. So, even as a small boy, he was very intelligent. His father gave him a kurma deity to worship, which gives stability in spiritual life. So in this way, as a small boy, he grew up very devotionally in a beautiful setting in the home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jedina grihe bhajana deke grihe te golokavai. If I sing the whole song, then time will run out. Huh? He's saying that when I return home in the evening, all my 10 children, some are worshipping the Lord with arati, some are beating mridanga, some are singing, some are dancing. My whole home has turned into Goloka, he says. Huh? In this way, in that beautiful devotional home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this small child, Bimal Prasad, grew up. Huh? As he grew up to teenage, when he went for education, he understood this material education is good for nothing. Huh? He doesn't teach you about the goal of life, meaning of life, purpose of life. Huh? It is simply hollow. It's empty. He understood that. Huh? And although he was given the Surya Siddhanta title, which is only given to somebody who is extraordinarily talented in astronomy, astrology, so for him it was nothing great. Later on he became a Bhaktisidhhanta. Huh? By the inspiration of his father, he took the path of Bhakti Yoga as the life and soul, huh? And the path of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very seriously. So as the Acharya's true identity started manifesting as Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur, his contributions to the world are enormous. The period that follows. For example, you will see that for a certain period of time, for 10 years, he wanted to purify his heart before he can reach out Krishna consciousness to the world. So as we heard from Anandamai Prabhu, he went to Mayapur and 10 years he chanted like Haridas Thakur, 3 lakh names every day for 10 years. And then when he came to Calcutta after that, he came in a missionary mood of propagating Krishna consciousness. And beginning with, he understood that you will see the logo of Gaudiya Math. On one side you will find the lamp, the Arati lamp you will find, which represents the Pancharatriki Vedi. On the other side you find the printing press and the Mridangam also. So the Mridangam, like this Mridangam, if you beat, how much distance can you hear? Whereas when you print the books and distribute it, it can go all over the world. So therefore he called it as a Brihat Mridanga, he called it. Brihat means very big, very great. So the Lord's glories can ring all over the world. Now Srila Prabhupada's books have reached even Arctic Antarctic also now. One group went in a ship, went and gave the books to people living in Arctic Antarctic also. So even the Eskimos have Prabhupada's books now. So books can go anywhere. Actually, books can go where you cannot go. Like many times you can't go into college hostels or companies, but books can go everywhere. So in this way, therefore he put printing press and the Mridanga. So my spiritual master recently, when he went to Yoga Pith and Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur's Matha, so one devotee from Gaudiya Math was explaining to him, Maharaj, this is the first machine that Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur brought, in which he started printing. So in that it was written, Cleveland, Ohio was written. So when my spiritual master saw that, he was so stunned. He said, can you imagine in 1920, getting such a sophisticated machine from Cleveland, Ohio and importing it into India. In fact, in India, even the cars became prominent after 1960-70. My father used to say, in the cars they used to put coal and fire. For example, if you want to travel from your place to another town, you have to book the car 1 week in advance. And then the car will have adequate number of people to travel. Then they put the coal and they have to move a crankshaft. Many things. It was a very mechanical type of car. But he had a car which is limousine car. A very costly foreign car in which he would distribute the books. So he brought this printing press. So my spiritual master, he said, stood next to the machine and told one devotee, can you take one photo of me? I have never seen my spiritual master asking for a selfie or asking for a photo from anybody. Asking for a photo, can anybody click my photo? Even so many people click his photo standing by his side, he hardly cares about it. But why did he want to take a photo standing next to machine? Because he's feeling a sense of belonging to the Acharya. He thought that here is the first printing press brought by our great-grandfather. For him, he's a grandfather, guru, for him. So, this is the printing press. So, when he touched it, he was putting his head on that machine. Because that's where the propagation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya happened. In those days, sadhus were sitting in Vrindavan and absorbed in bhajan. Many of the people take a bath in the Yamuna with water dripping in your body, go to all the 7 temples, and body shivering, and just chant japa, practically 3 lakh names, 2 lakh names all day, constantly remembering Radha and Krishna. This was the kind of lifestyle any sadhu can think about in those days. But Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur was a different type of sadhu. He said, we are not here to just chant and go back to Godhead, like Prahlad Maharaj said. Gayena deva munayaha svabhimukti kaman maunam charanti vijane napararthanishtha naitan vihaya kripanan vimamokshayeko nanyam tadasya sharanam brahmato nupashye. He says that there are many rishis, munis in Himalayas maintaining vow of silence, Mauna Vrata, and they are sitting, oh, they're chanting, and they want to keep aloof from the society, they want to go to the jungle. And Prahlad says, I don't want to be like them, he says. Shoche tato vimukachetase. He says, I am worried about the fools and rascals who are absorbed in bodily consciousness, eat, drink, and be merry culture. I want to make sure they are liberated and they are dispatched back to Godhead, and lastly, I will also go. First, I want to liberate them, he says. This is Prahlada's mood, which was adopted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Therefore, he got the printing press. So you will see in his matha, he has put the printing press in the temple hall itself. Somebody may say it's such a noisy thing, but it is also Sankirtan, because it is printing and distributing books. One man asked Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur, why are you printing this, Sajjan Toshini, these magazines every week? You could publish it once in a month or once in a year. He said, I can print this magazine every minute, but you are not ready to read. If there are adequate audience to read, the message from spiritual world is so exhaustive that at every moment we can publish one magazine, he said. So, in this way, he published books, he published magazines, like for example, Nectar of Devotion, like Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, all the important books he published. So that people can read and become awakened. In fact, not only he published these Bengali books, he also published many English versions of the book. So he attracted the British Raj people. He went even up to Viceroy. He invited Viceroy to come to the Gaudiya mission, Gaudiya Math. So when Viceroy came, a lot of people also came. He gave them chairs to sit. He gave them lecture in English. And his English would be so eloquent that they have to carry a dictionary with them to see what he says. So he was he had a Victorian English, he could speak very eloquently. So they had a very great, you will see photos of Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur with a turban, with a long coat. And many of his disciples also wore coats, and you will see a colorful strap hanging with a timer. They all were looking like British people. Because when they called the British people, they dressed also accordingly so that British people will not feel out of place. Made them comfortable. So in this way, he preached to many British people. In fact, some of the Germans and British people became his disciples also. So he started in that way influencing the foreigners to become disciples and stay in India. They became sannyasis. Some of them like that. And therefore, he had a very strong desire. During the World War II, prior to that, Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur had sent some books to even Germany. Even at that time, Bhaktivinod Thakur sent in 1896. After that, Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur also sent. So while Hitler was contemplating on war, killing 10 million Jews, Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur was contemplating on propagating compassionate love of God all over the world. He counteracted that. Just see how amazing. So in this way, he had English people attending his programs. Many of them became interested. He would also talk one-on-one to great kings. There was one king whom he preached. The king was so impressed, he made him stay for 4-5 days with him. So in this way, he was trying to touch people who are very influential in society, besides preaching to the commoners also. And in this way, number of disciples started increasing over time, and he took them for a parikrama to Vrindavan, to governmental parikrama and Vrindavan parikrama. Now, meanwhile, the Brahmanas who are Smartha Brahmins, they were running out of business because all the people became attracted by Gaudiya Vaishnava culture. And Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur taught, just chant the holy name. and study the sacred scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam. Awaken love for God, which is Pancham Purushartha. You don't need all this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all these things. Huh? You directly follow the path of love of God. So therefore, the Brahmins who are doing puja part and everything, and who are earning all the dakshina and everything, they thought that what will happen to our business? They wanted to hold the authority of religion in their hands. Now that the masses of people are following Bhaktivedanta Thakur, they became very angry. Some of them started even pelting stones when Bhaktivedanta Thakur went to the dham with his devotees. So in this way, you will find there was some protest. Even in Vrindavan, all the temples were not allowing his disciples to enter because they were from lower classes of family, and also the only one temple allowed, Radha Raman temple. So Radha Raman Goswami said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur understood these people are not opening the temples because they are thinking that we are followers of Chaitanya, who is simply sannyasi, and we are calling him as Krishna. They thought. So he established Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, authentically from Chaitanya Upanishad and other literatures. Then all the temples opened the door for all his disciples and followers. In this way, many people had to change, had a transformation of heart by his preaching. So in this way, lot could be said about Bhaktivedanta Thakur's contribution to the literary field, publication of the books, and also diorama shows he opened. That is another new thing. Nowadays, you find in many ISKCON temples, you see dioramas, but the original origin is where Bhaktivedanta Thakur was the first one who made Chaitanya Leela dioramas. And Subhash Chandra Bose came to him and said, "Hey, you have many young boys in your matha. Why don't you give some of them to me for joining INA, Indian National Army, because we are fighting against the British?" Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, "See, my disciples are all thin fellows. They are all Brahmins. They are all studying scriptures and preaching. You need very fat and strong people. So don't put your eye on these people." He said, "You go take other people. These people, they will give eternal freedom for the soul from the clutches of matter. You are only working for the national freedom. And we are working for the soul's freedom from the body." So in this way, even in that time, see, when did he go back to Godhead? Vaikunthavas of him took place in 1936. Was India having freedom that time? No. That means even under foreign rule, he was putting diorama shows. Can you imagine? Now our country is free now. So, Bhaktivedanta Thakur's boldness and daring nature, so is unimaginable. And later on, brought many learned, highly educated people into the fold of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, both Indian and abroad. He didn't go abroad, but he brought people. Many of them in India at that time became his followers. So then he started sending his disciples to London. He sent some of them. And amongst his disciples, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he stood out in terms of reaching the mission far and wide. And our Srila Prabhupada's greatest glory is he faithfully followed the GBC system, which was instructed by Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. And GBC is Governing Body Commissioners. Actually, he got this innovative idea also from where? From Indian Railways. Indian Railways has GBC, north, south, east, west, on four sides. So he also said, this is a very good organization. Let us take this idea and let us make GBC in ISKCON also. So made GBC, and then now ISKCON has more than 50 GBCs taking care of the whole world. So our Srila Prabhupada is a faithful follower of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, and like father, like son, as we say, like Sima Guru, our Srila Prabhupada also preached very vigorously, uncompromising philosophy of Shuddha Bhakti to the divine couple, following in the footsteps of Lord Gauranga and Nityananda all over the world. Now, Prithivityache Nagaradigram, Sarvatra Prachara, Vaibhavarana is happening already, every village, many places by Srila Prabhupada's influence. And all of us sitting here, we have an opportunity to become an instrument in this glorious mission of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Krishna Babaji, and our Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples. We have that opportunity. So if you feel a strong sense of belonging to his teachings, to his instructions, to his glorious activities, then you become part of the spiritual family, and we can do great good to the world. So this is 150th year of Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Thakur. In this year, you can complete reading that book, Bhaktisidhhanta Vaibhava Vani, 3 volumes. You can read that book and know more about this great Acharya. And the more we know, the more our love for Acharyas can be awakened. Krishna says in 13th chapter 8-12, Acharyopasanam. Huh? So we can worship the Acharya in our heart and receive his blessings. He is always in his spiritual form, eternal form, blessing all the sincere followers. So today we will pray at his lotus feet that he blesses every one of us at ISKCON Hyderabad Shri Radha Madan Mohan Temple with pure devotional service, uncompromising practice of the same, and freedom from hypocrisy, freedom from any kind of possible deviation. Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Kvanta Harine. So let him destroy any kind of deviation which may exist in our hearts, and let him establish Shuddha Bhakti in our heart. We'll pray at his lotus. Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Thank you, His Grace Radheshyam. Next, I would like to request His Grace Keshavanand. We are very fortunate to have Prabhuji's association. Prabhuji is a senior disciple of His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji has been preaching vigorously in North India. He is very famous on YouTube and also has written several books. So we are very, very fortunate to have Prabhuji amongst us. Let us welcome Prabhuji by once loudly chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Just thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, all of you? मेरी आवाज थोड़ी कम है. Can you raise the volume? I speak low. So, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Shur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvisheshu Nevali Vaishnav Pad Ki Jai Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki. So I just speak for a few minutes. पीछे सुनाई दे रहा है सबको? Yes? Okay, fine, thank you. ये थोड़ा सा. So, on me? It's not on. Serious. So आज सबको पता ही है कि 150th अपीयरेंस डे है. भक्ति विकास महाराज ने ये बुक लिखी है भक्ति सिद्धांता वैभव 3 वॉल्यूम में. उसका जो मेजर सोर्स है, काफी रिसर्च मटेरियल है, बट मेजर सोर्स सरस्वती जयश्री है. भक्ति सरस्वती ठाकुर के डिसाइपल थे. उन्होंने भक्ति संत ठाकुर पे बिब्लियोग्राफी लिखी है और वो बंगाली में सरस्वती जयश्री. तो मोस्ट ऑफ द मटेरियल वहां से मैं भी उस रिसर्च में इन्वॉल्व था. अगर आप जिसको बंगाली आती है वो पढ़ सकते हैं, पर कोई जरूरत नहीं. भक्ति वैभव एग्जॉस्टिव है, महाराज ने लिखी है. सरस्वती जयश्री में जैसे मध्वा संप्रदाय में जाएंगे तो एक बुक है मध्वा विजय, मध्वाचार्य जी की लाइफ हिस्ट्री और उनके ट्रैवल्स. ऐसे सरस्वती जयश्री और भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के ट्रैवल्स हैं, अलग अलग जगह जहां गए, उन्होंने डिबेट्स की, लेक्चर्स दिए और उनके लाइफ हिस्ट्री के बारे में, और प्लस फिलॉसफी के बारे में. 3rd वॉल्यूम में फिलॉसफी है. भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर कौन थे? आप सबको पता है, भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद के गुरु। उनका जो नाम है भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर, वो ही बहुत और बहुत इंस्ट्रक्टिव है। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर की लाइफ हिस्ट्री पढ़ के एक चीज तो हो जाएगा, जैसे महाभारत आप पढ़ेंगे, वो एक स्वामी जी था उडुपी में मध्वा संप्रदाय के, सेवा सेइंग कि भाई आप महाभारत पढ़ के अगर वैष्णव बने ना बने वो तो आपके ऊपर है, मगर इंसान जरूर बन जाएंगे। दैट्स क्योंकि महाभारत इज टॉकिंग अबाउट धर्म, मनुष्य धर्म। सो ऐसे ही भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर के बारे में पढ़ के आप, हो सकता है प्योर डिवोटी बने ना बने वो तो आप पे डिपेंडेंट है, बट एक चीज जरूर हो जाएगी कि आपकी जो डिवोशन है वो लेजर पॉइंटेड हो जाएगी। क्योंकि भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने अलग अलग आचार्य अलग अलग चीज पे फोकस करते हैं। सारे आचार्य सब चीजें के बारे में बोलते हैं, बट फोकस अलग अलग होता है। वो डिपेंड करता है हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट, किस टाइम पे आए हैं। जैसे भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने अपनी बुक्स पे होली नेम पे फोकस किया है, नाम पे आप ये बुक्स पढ़िए। श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने फोकस किया प्रीचिंग पे। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने फोकस किया सर्विस एटीट्यूड पे, सेवा के पीछे भाव क्या होगा। और उसका एक कारण है, क्योंकि जब वो थे तो उस टाइम बहुत ज्यादा संप्रदाय और साहिज्यास थे। भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने तो अपनी बुक में मिनिमम 13 अपर संप्रदाय समझते हैं ना आप लोग, मतलब गौड़िया वैष्णव लगते हैं मगर गौड़िया वैष्णव होते नहीं, कुछ और फिलॉसफी होती है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल गौरांग नागरी, आप आज भी जाइए श्रीखंडा में, वहां पे गौरांग नागरी मिलेंगे, वेरी नाइस पीपल, हम गए थे, बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। बट उनकी फिलॉसफी ये है कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु कृष्ण है और जितने भी जो नदिया के डिवोटीज हैं वो गोपीज हैं, एंड ही इज हियर टू एंजॉय दैट। सो हम लोग तो आपको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते। कुछ लोग हैं ओला बोला नेडा नाड़ी, कुछ लोग ने गौड़िया वैष्णविज्म बुद्धिज्म को मिक्स किया हुआ है। इनफैक्ट फॉर योर इन्फॉर्मेशन, जब भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जगन्नाथपुरी गए थे तो उस टाइम जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा को एज अ बुद्धिस्ट लोग उनको बुद्धा मानते थे, क्योंकि ना बाल है, पूरा क्लीन है। सो जगन्नाथ जी बुद्धिस्ट थे और सुभद्रा देवी थी, सुभद्रा देवी है तो बुद्धिज्म में एक फीमेल डीटी है, उनका नाम है तो फीमेल्स और मेल्स दोनों, जैसे मैत्रेय बुद्धा होते हैं ऐसे ही वहां पर होता है। तो वहां पे आपका क्या कहते हैं उसका नाम मैं भूलिया, अवलोकेतेश्वरी, अवलोकेतेश्वरी। सो वो उनको वो मानते थे, बलराम जी को मानते थे मैत्री बुद्धा, इज लाइक लिटिल फैट। और उसके साथ साथ उन्होंने कुत्ता भी इंस्टॉल किया हुआ था। लेकिन मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ उस टाइम चल क्या रहा था वो जानना जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर आप हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट नहीं जानेंगे तो जो भक्ति ठाकुर ने किया है वो आप समझ नहीं पाएंगे। सो पुरी में ऐसा चल रहा था, कुत्ता क्यों था? क्योंकि वो सोचते थे कि कुत्ता भगवान का, बुद्धा का एक इनकारनेशन है। वो साथ में खड़ा बैठाते थे, पूजा होती थी उसकी। भक्ति ठाकुर व्हेन ही वेंट देयर इट वाज हैपनिंग लाइक दैट। मायापुर नवदीप में क्या हो रहा था? वहां पे ये लोग नेडा नाड़ी ओला बोला ये सब लोग घूम रहे थे, और ये लोग, इन लोगों ने उस टाइम भक्ति विनोद और भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर का टाइम चैतन्य चरितामृत की कॉपी भी अवेलेबल नहीं थी। अवेलेबल थी बट बहुत सारी मिस इंटरप्रेटेड थी। कोई कहता था ये रियल है, कोई कहता था ये रियल है, कोई कहता था ये रियल है। गौड़िया वैष्णव आचार्यों की जो बुक्स हैं संदर्भास, वो किसी को पता ही नहीं था क्या होते हैं। जैसे क्रिश्चियनिटी, जैसे वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में एक कहते हैं डार्क एजेस आई थी, नहीं, अंधेरा छा गया था गौड़िया वैष्णव समाज पे। सो 3 बार हमारे पूरे गौड़िया वैष्णव हिस्ट्री में अंधेरा छाया है। किसी को कोई होप नहीं थी कि महाप्रभु का मूवमेंट कहाँ चला गया। महाप्रभु और गोस्वामी, षट गोस्वामी के जाने के बाद एक डार्क एज आया, गौड़िया वैष्णव ऊपर बढ़ा नीचे चला गया। फिर उसके बाद उनके बाद आए नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर, बलदेव श्रीनिवास आचार्य और श्यामानंद पंडित, तो ऊपर आ गया। फिर उसके बाद फिर से अंधेरा छा गया, और उसके बाद आए विश्वनाथ चक्र ठाकुर, बलदेव विद्याभूषण, तो फिर से ऊपर चला गया। और फिर उसके बाद अंधेरा छाया, और उसके बाद है भक्ति विनोद, भक्ति सिद्धांत और शीला प्रभुपाद। भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने बहुत मुश्किल से चैतन्य चरितमृत की कॉपी प्रिक्योर की, उसको एडिट की, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों ने अजीब अजीब श्लोक घुसाए हुए थे। चैतन्य भागवत भी अगर आप पुरी में जाके मांगेंगे तो आपको 2 मिलेंगी आज भी। तो अगर आपने गलत खरीद ली तो फिर आप हमसे आर्ग्यू करेंगे, प्रभु जी चैतन्य भागवत में ऐसा लिखा है, मगर वो रियल नहीं है। अभी भी 2 हैं, अभी भी प्रेजेंटली भी। सो चैतन्य भागवत को भी पता नहीं था कि कौन सी बुक है। भक्ति ठाकुर ने सारी बुक्स ली, एडिट की, उस एडिटिंग में भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने हेल्प की, ही वाज हेल्पिंग हिम। सो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कोई बुक्स नहीं लिखी, भागवत पे कमेंट्री लिखी है, नाम मैं भूल गया उसका कमेंट्री का, आई डोंट नो इफ एनीबॉडी, गौड़िया भाष्य। सो कमेंट्री लिखी है, और उसके बाद उन्होंने एक सॉन्ग लिखा है, प्लस उनके लेक्चर्स रिकॉर्डेड थे। लेक्चर्स उनके रिकॉर्डेड थे सज्जन तोषिनी, हार्मोनिस्ट। 8 मैगजीन पब्लिश की थी उन्होंने। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर कहते थे कि अगर स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में इतनी नॉलेज है तो हम हर सेकंड एक मैगजीन पब्लिश कर सकते हैं। सो ही वाज सेइंग एवरी डे, तो उन्होंने एवरी डे मैगजीन्स पब्लिश हो रही थी, एटलीस्ट हार्मोनिस्ट उस टाइम, और बाद में एवरी मंथली हो गई थी। हार्मोनिस्ट, सज्जन तोषिनी और गौड़िया, गौड़िया बंगाली में, हार्मोनिस्ट इंग्लिश में, सज्जन तोषिनी एंड दैट वाज इन आल्सो इन बंगाली। हिंदी की पत्रिका निकल रही थी, ओडिशा की पत्रिका निकल रही थी, बंगाली थी, और बीच में उन्होंने मराठी भी शुरू की थी, क्योंकि बंगाल में मतलब मारवाड़ी कम्युनिटी ज्यादा है, यू नो दैट, वहां पे है बंगाल में। और उसके बाद भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने स्पेशल मैगजीन शुरू की थी विष्णु प्रिया पे। इनफैक्ट मैं हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट बता रहा हूँ, बंगाल में बहुत बड़ी कंट्रोवर्सी उठी थी विष्णु प्रिया को लेकर, क्योंकि विष्णु प्रिया के अभी भी कुछ परिवार हैं जो कहते हैं विष्णु प्रिया चैतन्य महाप्रभु के साथ माधुर्य भाव में थी। शी वॉज वाइफ। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर वॉज वेरी अनॉयड बाय दैट। इसीलिए आप योगपीठ जाएंगे, योगपीठ गए हैं, कोई गए हैं सब लोग? योगपीठ तो गए होंगे यार, मतलब सो योगपीठ में आप देखेंगे कि वहां पे महाप्रभु हैं और पंचतत्व भी हैं और विष्णु प्रिया भी हैं। यू विल सी दैट ही इंस्टॉल्ड जानबूझ के, क्यों? ये दिखाने के लिए कि विष्णु प्रिया जी माधुर्य भाव में नहीं थी, विष्णु प्रिया जी दास्य भाव में थी। क्योंकि चैतन्य महाप्रभु राधा कृष्ण है, विष्णु प्रिया लक्ष्मी का अवतार है जो राधा कृष्ण की सेवा करने आई। इट वॉज अ बिग थिंग। मतलब आपको अभी नहीं लग रहा होगा, आपको कहोगे फर्क क्या पड़ता है, वाइफ हो दास्य हो, हमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हमें तो प्रसाद मिल जाएगा, इट डजंट मैटर। ये ऐसा लगता है हम लोगों को, यू नो, लाइक भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ही वाज वेरी स्केप्टिक जब प्रसाद होता था। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर 1 महीने में केवल 1 किलो चावल खाते थे। आप लोग 1 दिन में खाते होगे, 1 महीने में। ही वॉज वेरी ऑस्टियर, पर्सनैलिटी ऐसी थी। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को मोटे डिवोटीज अच्छे नहीं लगते थे, सॉरी, मतलब ही वाज, मैं उनके बारे में बता रहा हूँ, सो इट वाज लाइक दैट। ही डिडंट अलाउ हिज सन्यासी ब्रह्मचारी डिसाइपल्स टू ड्रिंक मिल्क। ऐसा नहीं आप दूध ना पियो, बट दूध भी प्योर होना चाहिए, वो भी बात है। बट ही डिडंट अलाउ, ही वाज, ही इनफैक्ट भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर तो इतना ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम में चले गए कि उन्होंने एक जब व्हेन ही वाज यंग, 20 इयर्स ओल्ड, उन्होंने एक ग्रुप बनाया था, अभी भी है वो, विश्व वैष्णव राज सभा। सुना है आप लोगों ने? गौड़िया मठ की ट्रस्ट इसी नाम पे चलती है, गौड़िया मठ के नाम पे नहीं चलती। इस्कॉन की ट्रस्ट इस्कॉन के नाम पे है, गौड़िया मठ के पेपर्स देखोगे, ट्रस्ट में विश्व वैष्णव राज सभा के नाम से चलती है, गौड़िया मठ के नाम पे आप जाके पूछो। सो जब ओरिजिनली उन्होंने बनाया था तो उसमें उन्होंने सब ज्वाइन कर गए यंग लोग, तो सारे के सारे ब्रह्मचारी थे। उन्होंने कहा अभी हम वाव लेंगे, हम ब्रह्मचारी लेंगे सब। ऑफकोर्स अब ब्रह्मचारी रहना कोई आसान तो है नहीं, सब धीरे धीरे चले गए, वो क्रैश हो गई। बट भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर, वहां पे क्वेश्चन उठा कि यार आप ब्रह्मचार्य पे इतना फोकस कर रहे हो, आप फादर तो गृहस्थ हैं नेचुरली नहीं, और आप कह रहे हो जो ब्रह्मचारी नहीं है वो बेकार है, ये है वो है। तो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर इतने एक्सट्रीम चले गए, उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे फादर, उनकी डिवोशन इतनी अच्छी नहीं है। He said that. It's recorded. He's a grasta. Grastas are fallen people. Now, how do you understand this? भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर वहां पे ऐसा कह रहे हैं, for भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर, his own। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ऐसे थे जिन्होंने भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को कभी भी फादर नहीं बोला। बंगाली में फादर को बोलते हैं बाबा, पता है ना, बाबा बोलते हैं। He used to say, भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के एक भाई थे ललित प्रसाद, समझ आ रहा है आप लोगों को? मतलब ऐसे मत देखो मुझे, आ रहा है ना? आई एम गेटिंग क्या आ रहा है? उनके भाई थे ललित प्रसाद। ललित प्रसाद को उन्होंने लेटर लिखा। ललित प्रसाद भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को फादर कहते थे। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने लेटर लिखा उनके जाने के बाद कि जो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को बाबा कहेगा उनकी भक्ति में बाधा आ जाएगी, और जिसकी भक्ति में बाधा आएगी वो राधा की शरण नहीं ले पाएगा। He was so much dedicated to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti ठाकुर ने कैलेंडर बनाने में मिस्टेक की थी। He was not an astrologer. Bhakti ठाकुर एस्ट्रोलॉजर थे। भक्ति ठाकुर की एक्यूमेन एस्ट्रोलॉजी में इतनी थी कि उनको 22 इयर्स की 21-22 इयर्स की एज में BHU में HOD की पोस्ट देने के लिए बुलाया कि आप HOD बन जाइए भाई। मैथमेटिशियन, एस्ट्रोलॉजर, संस्कृत स्कॉलर, इंग्लिश उनकी इतनी स्कॉलरली थी कि ब्रिटिशर्स भी उनकी इंग्लिश के सामने पानी भरते थे। सो उनको बोला भाई आप बन जाइए। BHU तो उस टाइम बहुत इट वाज अ बिग यूनिवर्सिटी। वो आए और उन्होंने लेक्चर दिया और वहां पे एस्ट्रोलॉजी के डिपार्टमेंट के HOD बैठे हुए थे। ही वाज सिटिंग और लेक्चर सुन के उनकी टॉयलेट वहां निकल। वो इतने नर्वस हो गए क्योंकि भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने किताब के चीथड़े उड़ा बुक लिखी थी और उन्होंने प्रूव कर दिया कि ये जो एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल कैलकुलेशन जो आप पढ़ा रहे हो इसको अपडेट करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज इट्स यूजलेस। वो सच अ स्कॉलरली पर्सन। किसी के टॉयलेट निकल जाना, यू कैन इमेजिन, लेक्चर सुन के। सो उनको बुलाया तो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने उस टाइम एक कैलेंडर निकाला था। बंगाली में कैलेंडर को बोलते हैं पंजिका, अभी भी है। तो उन्हें बंगाली पंजिका निकाली। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने देखा तो गलतियां, हाँ वो, मगर उन्होंने कभी भक्ति बोला नहीं। और उनके डिसाइपल्स ने कहा कि देखिए हम भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के डिसाइपल बहुत स्कॉलरली थे। भक्ति रक्षक स्वामी महाराज लॉयर, विनोद प्रोफेसर, उसके बाद केशव प्रज्ञा महाराज, ही वाज अ वेरी रिच फैमिली, वेरी पर्सन। भक्ति तीर्थ, ये बहुत भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने बहुत एजुकेटेड लोगों को इंटरेक्ट किया। उनको पता लग गया मिस्टेक है। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कहा कि मिस्टेक है मगर हम यही फॉलो करेंगे क्योंकि मेरे गुरु ने है, हम गलत ही, कोई इतना डिजास्टर नहीं है अगर हम गलत फॉलो करें। सो उनकी एलिजियंस भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के लिए बहुत थी, मगर फिर भी उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट बोल दिया ब्रह्मचार्य में कि भाई ही इज नॉट अप टू द मार्क, क्योंकि वो गलत है, हमें ब्रह्मचारी रहना चाहिए। मैं क्यों बता रहा हूँ? क्योंकि कुछ आचार्य जो स्टेटमेंट्स बोलते हैं तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट के हिसाब से देखना होता है, अदरवाइज वो ऊट पटांग लगेंगे। इनफैक्ट सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद भक्ति विचार ठाकुर के राइट हैंड, भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर का लेफ्ट हैंड कौन था किसी को पता है? दो हाथ होते हैं, राइट हैंड सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद, लेफ्ट हैंड अनंत वासुदेव, और दोनों के दोनों ही भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के बाद डिबेट हो। यू कैन इमेजिन, सीखना है कि आप कोई भी हो अगर फॉलो नहीं करोगे तो कोई नहीं बचा सकता हमें। भक्तिसिद्धांत जैसे परमहंस गुरु, सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद जैसे डिसाइपल, वो ऐसे डिसाइपल थे कि भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद पे पोयम लिखी थी अपने हाथ से, और उस पोयम को स्टोन पे लिखवा के मठ के सामने चिनवा दिया था। अभी भी है, मुझे नहीं पता, आई हैव टू गो एंड सी। एनग्रेव करा के सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद की प्रेज। सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद ही वो व्यक्ति थे भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के जाने के बाद। सुंदर आनंद विनोद ऐसे डिसाइपल थे, इनके डिसाइपल्स भी यूनिक भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के बोलने से पहले वो पता वाले की ने अपने किसी में बताया, he also told he was such a disciple कि उनसे पूछो अब क्या बोलने वाला है, अब ये बोलने वाला है, अब ये बोलने वाला है। He was the कहते हैं उसको ट्रांसक्राइबर ऑफ भक्तिसिद्धांत। ऑर्डर तो नहीं थे ना, तो भक्तिसिद्धांत साहब बोलते थे वो लिखते थे, और वो जो लिखते थे नोट बनाते थे, वो भी और सच एडेप्ट। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के जाने के बाद he threw all his books in Ganges, सारी किताबें उठा के उन्होंने गैंजेस में फेंक दी और उन्होंने बुक्स लिखी भक्तिसिद्धांत के अगेंस्ट। आप भागवत जाइए, आप वहां पे बुक खरीदिए, टीचे क्या है खरीद के ले आओगे, ठीक है, आपको बड़ा मजा आएगा पढ़ने में, मगर जब आप खोलोगे शुरू में तो आपको दिखाई देगा सुंदर आनंद विद्या विनोद, और अब डेडिकेटेड सिद्धांत नहीं, डेडिकेट। और उस बुक में उनका एजेंडा था कि भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर के सारे सिद्धांतों को काट देना। आप पढ़ के देखो। उसके रिस्पॉन्स में भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर के एक और डिसाइपल हैं, पुरी में रहते उनके डिसाइपल के डिसाइपल, आई मेट हिम, उन्होंने एक बुक, ही वॉज कंप्लीटली फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, क्योंकि उन्होंने पूरा लिखा कि भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर डिविएटेड थे, उन्होंने ये गलत बोल दिया, ये गलत बोल दिया, ये गलत बोल दिया। ही वॉज लाइक, पूरे गौड़िया मठ में हाहाकार मच गया था, क्योंकि सुंदरानंद विद्या विनोद लेफ्ट हैंड है भाई, उनके साथ आर्ग्यू कौन करेगा। शिला प्रभुपाद भी कुछ नहीं बोल पाए, भक्ति लक्ष्मीधर देव गोस्वामी कुछ नहीं बोल पाए, कोई कुछ नहीं बोल पाए। इट वॉज अ केओस। सो उन्होंने सुंदरानंद विद्या विनोद ने लिखा सब कुछ। उसके रिस्पॉन्स में भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के डिसाइपल ने एक बुक लिखी है 2000 पेज की, 20 साल में, और उसमें उन्होंने सुंदरानंद विद्या विनोद के सारे सिद्धांतों को काटा है और प्रूफ किया है कि ही वॉज रॉन्ग, और इनफैक्ट मतलब मैं क्या बोलूं, गाली भी दी है। ही डिड अ वेल, ही वॉज ग्रेट, उन्होंने सर्विस की भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर की। बट हमें सीखने को ये मिलता है, ये तो सुंदरानंद विद्या विनोद थे। अनंत वासुदेव को तो प्रभुपाद जी ने लेटर्स में लिखा है श्रीगाल समझते हैं आप लोग, was a fox, he said he is a dangerous person, लेफ्ट राइट हैंड दोनों के दोनों। इससे सीखने को क्या मिलता है? इससे सीखने को मिलता है कि आपके गुरु कोई भी हो, डजंट मैटर, कृष्ण ही गुरु बन जाए उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, फर्क पड़ता है आप कितना फॉलो कर रहे हो। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है आज के एज में भी, हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में। सो गुरु हमें वॉर्न करते हैं, गाइड करते हैं, भक्ति संता ने वॉर्न किया, गाइड किया, बट अगर हम फॉलो नहीं करेंगे सो हम भी नीचे गिर जाएंगे। आज उनका अपीयरेंस डे है, आज के दिन हमें उनकी टीचिंग्स समझ के उसको फॉलो करना है। उनकी टीचिंग्स क्या है? भक्ति सिद्धांत, उनके नाम में ही है। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने एक बहुत, उनका नाम ही अजीब है, उन्होंने भक्ति और सिद्धांत को साथ में लेके आए, जो कि कोई मानता नहीं। लोग कहते हैं भक्ति अलग है और सिद्धांत अलग है, यही कहते हैं ना, भक्ति ठीक है, नाचो गाओ, वृंदावन में डोलो, राधे राधे बोलो, ये भक्ति है। सिद्धांत अलग है, सिद्धांत तो ज्ञानियों के पास है, बट हिज नेम इज भक्ति सिद्धांत, जिन्होंने भक्ति और सिद्धांत को हार्मोनाइज, समन्वय किया है। सो उनसे हमें सीखने को मिलता है कि सिद्धांत के बिना भक्ति नहीं है, भक्ति के बिना सिद्धांत। इनफैक्ट सिद्धांत भक्ति की भाषा है, कुछ अलग चीज नहीं है। और सरस्वती उनको टाइटल मिला था, ये जो एस्ट्रोलॉजर्स जो हैं, जितने भी जो स्कॉलरली लोग थे, उन्होंने सरस्वती टाइटल दिया था। और ठाकुर बंगाल में जो गुरुज होते हैं उनको ठाकुर दिया जाता है। साउथ में ठाकुर, जो डाकू होते हैं उनको ठाकुर बोला जाता है। अब जाके बोलो, साउथ में बोलो। मैं गया था उडुपी, मैं तो उडुपी से ही पढ़ा हूँ, मणिपाल से। मैंने बोला भक्ति ठाकुर का पेरेंट्स है, तो उन्होंने कहा क्या डाकू थे क्या आपकी परंपरा में? मैंने कहा नहीं, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भी थे। सो बंगाल में ठाकुर टाइटल है जो कि स्पिरिचुअल लोग होते हैं उनके लिए, और फैमिली गोस्वामीज के लिए भी। सो भक्ति ठाकुर से हमें एक चीज आज सीखने को क्या मिलती है, टेक अवे क्या है, वो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ। आप जाके उनकी हिस्ट्री पढ़ लेना, वो मैं बताने नहीं आता, वो तो राधे श्याम प्रभु ने बता दिया है डिटेल में, दैट्स नाइस। टेक अवे क्या है? पहला टेक अवे है कि हम सबसे पहले हम खुद से अच्छी तरह फॉलो करें, वही एक्चुअली गुरु की असली सर्विस होगी। अदरवाइज आप कितने ही महान हो जाओ, कितने ही डियर हो जाओ गुरु के, फिर भी इट डजंट मैटर, यू कैन फॉल डाउन अगर हम फॉलो नहीं करेंगे सही से। तो यू हैव टू कीप इन अ माइंड, कृष्ण भगवान के शिष्य भी असुर बन गया था। क्या नाम था, किसी को पता है? किसी को? भौमासुर, ही बिकेम नरकासुर। अद्वैत आचार्य के 6 पुत्र थे, 3 नास्तिक बने थे और 3 आस्तिक बन गए। अच्युतानंद और कृष्णा और बलराम, आई डोंट नो व्हाट वाज इट, 3 नास्तिक बन गए। यू कैन इमेजिन, अद्वैत आचार्य स्वयं महाविष्णु। सो हम कौन है? सो एक चीज ये सीखने को मिलती है। दूसरी चीज सीखने को मिलती है कि हम सिद्धांत को इतना इजीली ना लें। शिला प्रभुपाद ने के जो 7 मैनिफेस्टोज हैं इस्कॉन के, उसमें पहला मैनिफेस्टो ये है टू सिस्टमैटिकली, मैं लिटरली नहीं बता रहा, बट टू सिस्टमैटिकली प्रोपोगेट दिस मैसेज इन द वर्ल्ड टू अटेन वर्ल्ड पीस, समथिंग लाइक दैट। ही वांटेड, श्रीला प्रभुपाद ये भी चाहते थे हर इस्कॉन टेम्पल के साथ एक कॉलेज अटैच्ड हो, कि जिससे उनको टीचिंग मिले। लोग ट्राई कर रहे हैं, भक्ति शास्त्री कोर्स, ये सब चीजें हो रही हैं, इंटीग्रेट हो रही हैं, बट मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि he started many courses, भक्तिसिद्धांत, भक्ति शास्त्री, भक्ति वैभव, भक्ति सर्वभौम, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने इंस्टॉल किया था, बट भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने उसको इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज किया था। He did that. तीसरी टीचिंग भक्तिसिद्धांत से मिलती है कि he was very revolutionary. भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ऐसे व्यक्ति थे, भूतो न भविष्यति। उन्होंने जो किया है हम सोच भी नहीं सकते। उन्होंने मंदिर में मीट सर्व किया है ब्रिटिशर्स को। ब्रिटिशर्स जब आए थे, उन्होंने ब्रिटिशर्स को टेम्पल हॉल में लेके आए, टेम्पल हॉल में डाइनिंग टेबल लाई और वहां पे मीट खिलाया उनको। कई डिसाइपल्स देख के छोड़ के चले गए। उन्होंने कहा क्या नॉनसेंस है, उन्होंने ऐसा क्यों किया, हम कर सकते हैं, हम नहीं कर सकते, एब्सोल्यूट रिडिकुलस है। बट कॉन्टेक्स्ट, ब्रिटिशर्स को वहां पे बुलाना बहुत जरूरी था क्योंकि सहेजियों का पूरा होल्ड था। उन्होंने उन्होंने आपको पता है वहां पे दो नवद्वीप है, पता है ना आपको, 2 युगपीठ हैं, एक पुराने मायापुर में, एक नए। उनका बहुत होल्ड था। उनको 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 क्या कहते हैं, डिफ्यूज करने के लिए, हटाने के लिए बहुत जरूरी था करना। सो ही डिड दैट, रेवोल्यूशनरी। उन्होंने प्रभु जी ने कहा था, कैलकाटा में एक प्रोफेसर आया था बहुत उम्मीद से कि कितना अच्छा मंदिर है, हम करेंगे। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर का जो गौड़िया मठ था, 64 गौड़िया मठ, सारे स्कॉलरली और यंग लोग थे उसमें। पहली बार नहीं, जनरली सनातन धर्म में तो सारे अनएजुकेटेड लोग आ रहे थे। उस टाइम किसी को इंग्लिश पता था, ही वॉज वेरी एजुकेटेड, सब इंग्लिश जानते थे। सो जब वो आया बड़ी मुझ से कैलकाटा में, उल्टा डंगा रोड, शंख बजा, ऑल्टर खोला, प्रिंटिंग प्रेस, ऑल्टर के अंदर भगवान की मूर्ति नहीं थी, उसकी आरती हो रही थी। वही कंप्लीटली पिस्ड ऑफ हो गया। उसने कहा ये क्या हो रहा है। फिर वो गया, उसने लोगों से पूछा आप कितनी माला करते हो। कोई कोई 1 माला करता था, कोई 2। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के रूम में गया, उसने कहा भैया ये क्या हो रहा है, आपके वहां प्रिंटिंग प्रेस, आप 64 राउंड्स करते हो, आपके डिसाइपल 1 माला करते हैं, और आपकी एंट्रेंस पे झाड़ू लटकी हुई है घंटी की जगह। व्हाट्स दिस, मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कहा कि तुम अंधे हो, तुम्हारी आंखों में सेवा भाव नहीं है। वो झाड़ू इसलिए रखे तुम जैसे लोगों के लिए कि तुम जब आओ तो झाड़ू से अपने आइडियाज साफ करके आना, वरना यहाँ पे कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा। और प्रिंटिंग प्रेस ले रखी है दिखाने के लिए कि भगवान से ऊपर भगवान की सेवा है। प्रिंटिंग प्रेस सर्विस कर रही है ना, मतलब बुक्स, बृहत मदंगा, वो बताने के लिए मैंने किया है। सेवा हमेशा भगवान से ऊपर है। और ये लोग जप इसलिए नहीं कर रहे क्योंकि ये लोग भगवान की सेवा में 24 घंटे हैं। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने गृहस्थों के लिए 64 राउंड्स बोले थे, ब्रह्मचारी सन्यासियों के लिए नहीं बोले थे। इस आइडिया वॉज डिफरेंट। वो कहते थे देखो भाई, ब्रह्मचारी सन्यासी तो 24 घंटे सेवा में ही है, गृहस्थ लोग माया में जाते हैं, उनको प्रोटेक्शन की जरूरत है, तो 64 राउंड्स उनको करना चाहिए। अब गृहस्थ कैसे करते थे मुझे नहीं पता, आई डोंट नो। श्रीला प्रभुपाद said he used to do 64 rounds, फिर शायद वो 16 राउंड्स करते थे जब प्रीचिंग में बिजी हो गए। आफ्टर दैट 64 राउंड यू नहीं कहने, आप हमारे पास कोई गृहस्थ है, हम कहेंगे तुम 16 माला करो, हाँ भी ब्रह्मचारी लोग तुम लोग 64 राउंड्स करो। उन्होंने कहा कि सेवा भाव इंपॉर्टेंट है, सेवा भाव से 1 माला भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है रादर देन 64। हमारे यहाँ तो चलो 16 राउंड्स मिनिमम है, दैट्स ओके, वो तो करना ही है। ये रेवोल्यूशनरी था। उन्होंने भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने इस गौड़िया मठ में डायोरामा शुरू किए। डायोरामा समझते हैं ना, एग्जीबिशंस, फर्स्ट टाइम आई थिंक बांग्लादेश में कहीं लेक्चर हुआ था। भक्ति रक्षक देव गोस्वामी थे और आई थिंक तीर्थ महाराज थे, दोनों गए थे लेक्चर करने। बांग्लादेश में गए और वहां पे बांग्लादेश में कहीं उन्होंने लेक्चर किया, और वहां पे क्या हुआ, भक्ति रक्षिधर देव गोस्वामी ने वहां के जो लोकल जो गुरुज हैं उनके अगेंस्ट बोल दिया। अगले दिन सब लोग आ गए पीटने के लिए उनको, गुंडे लेकर, ये आपने कैसे बोल दिया अगेंस्ट सबके। सो ये इंफॉर्मेशन जो तीर्थ महाराज, उन्होंने सीधा लेटर लिखा, टेलीग्राम के लेटर तो क्या, कि भैया बवाल हो गया यहाँ पर, हम पिटने वाले हैं, सब गुंडे लेके आ गए, इन्होंने ऐसे कर दिया भक्ति रक्षित देव गोस्वामी। इमीडिएट टेलीग्राम आया कि मैं बहुत खुश हूं उनसे। दूसरे दिन भी ऐसे ही बोले, तीसरे दिन भी ऐसे ही बोले, अगर एक भी व्यक्ति ना हो उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, मगर मैसेज ठीक होना चाहिए। हिज आइडिया वाज दैट। भक्तिसिद्धांत खुद जब 3 दिन का पंडाल प्रोग्राम होता था, पहले प्रोग्राम में 500 लोग, दूसरे दिन में 200 लोग, तीसरे दिन 2 लोग, क्योंकि उनकी भाषा किसी को समझ नहीं आती थी। वो इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि वो ऊट पटांग बोलते थे, इसलिए क्योंकि उनकी बंगाली संस्कृताइज थी। आप आज भी उनके वर्क्स पढ़ लो, जो मॉडर्न बंगाली वाले हैं उनकी बंगाली नहीं समझ पाएंगे। उनकी बंगाली पढ़ने के लिए आपको अलग से बंगाली सीखनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि एक सेंटेंस शुरू होता है पेज के शुरू में, सेंटेंस खत्म होता है पेज के एंड में, फुल स्टॉप ही नहीं है। आप पढ़ते जाओगे, मैंने पहली बार पढ़ा, मेरा तो आउट ही हो गया माइंड। मुझे बंगाली आती है बट, और संस्कृताइज्ड बहुत ज्यादा। सो उनसे सीखने को मिलता है कि हमें मैसेज पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करना चाहिए। अगर आप मैसेज भी दे सकते हो, लोगों को होल्ड भी कर सकते हो, सोने पे सुहागा, यू नो दैट्स द बेस्ट। इसलिए भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर अपने साथ सन्यासी को बिठाते थे कि भैया मैं 5 मिनट बोलूंगा, ये लोग बोलेंगे, क्योंकि मेरी बात तो आप लोगों को इतना, कम्युनिकेशन में मैं इतना स्ट्रांग नहीं हूँ, ये लोग हैं। यूज्ड टू डू दैट। सो थर्ड मैसेज है, मैसेज पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज ना करें। अगर आप मैसेज को अच्छी तरह दे सकते हैं, लोग भी आ सकते हैं, तो बेस्ट है, ये आपकी एक्सपर्टाइज है। एक्चुअली डिसाइपल की एक्सपर्टाइज यही है कि वो मैसेज भी प्योर रखे और मैक्सिमम लोगों तक पहुंचा दे। वो अच्छा डिसाइपल है, वो हमारी बेस्ट सर्विस होगी इस प्रीचिंग मिशन के लिए। तीसरी चीज, चौथी चीज हमें भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर से सीखने को मिल रही है कि रेवोल्यूशनरी स्पिरिट, मैं बता रहा था अभी। रेवोल्यूशनरी स्पिरिट का मतलब नहीं है कि हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, मतलब यह है कि हम भगवान के लिए कुछ रिस्क जरूर ले सकते हैं अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले। कभी हमें डरना नहीं चाहिए भगवान की सर्विस में रिस्क लेने को, क्योंकि अगर हम रिस्क लेंगे तो भगवान बहुत खुश होंगे उससे। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने पूरी लाइफ रिस्क लिया। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को मारने के लिए कई लोग पीछे पड़े थे, होल लाइफ उनको मारने के लिए प्लॉटिंग की गई थी, ब्राइब दी गई थी, 20,000 रुपए पुलिस को दिए थे सारे लोगों ने मिलकर मारने के लिए। पुलिस वाले ने कहा भैया मैं घूस लेता हूं, मारता भी हूं, मगर संतों को नहीं मारता। तो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के पास गए, उन्होंने कहा भैया मुझे प्राइब मिली है आपको मारने के लिए, सुपारी कहते हैं ना, आप प्लीज यहाँ से थोड़े दिन चले जाइए, हम भी सेटल हो जाएंगे, आप भी हो जाएंगे, आप छोड़ दीजिए। जब वो पुरी में आए, पुरी में उनको मारने के लिए उनको पूरा ग्रुप बनाया गया, क्योंकि पुरी में वो मायावादियों के कॉलर पकड़ के बोल रहे थे कि तू छोड़ेगा नहीं मायावाद तो मैं देख लूंगा। he was a very, बहुत he became really angry। वहां पे उनको मारने के लिए प्लॉट किया गया। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कहा तुम मायापुर नवदीप चले जाओ, भैया यहाँ तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, अभी मैं हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहा। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को हर्निया था, यू नो दैट, लेफ्ट साइड हर्निया। वो बेल्ट पहनते थे, आपको नहीं पता होगा, यूज्ड टू यूज बेल्ट। उन लोगों ने कहा ऑपरेशन करा लीजिए, उन्होंने कहा मैं ऑपरेशन नहीं कराऊंगा, क्योंकि ऑपरेशन कराऊंगा मेरा मर्डर कर देंगे ऑपरेशन में। ही वॉज वेरी, अपने लिए नहीं, मठ के लिए। सो मैं बता रहा था कि जो अच्छे सेंट्स होते हैं, जो ट्रुथ बोलते हैं, उनको प्रॉब्लम्स तो सहनी पड़ती है। उन्होंने दिखाया प्रॉब्लम से डरो मत, सही बोलो, और अगर सही बोलोगे तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी आएंगी। ऐसा नहीं होता आप सही बोलोगे तो सब खुश हो जाएंगे, सब तो खुश नहीं होंगे ना। सो उसमें हमें डरना नहीं चाहिए। अगर हमें रिस्क लेना पड़े तो रिस्क ले लेना चाहिए, अगर जरूरी है। आबेल मुझे मार वाली बात नहीं है, जब रोड पे खड़े हो गए रिस्क आ गया, इफ इट इज रिक्वायर्ड वी शुड टेक। प्रभुपाद ने लिया, प्रभुपाद ने अपने गुरु को फॉलो किया सही से। और भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने हमें यह भी सिखाया अपनी प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ से कि थोड़ी सी ऑस्टेरिटी भी होनी चाहिए लाइफ में। ऑस्टेरिटी का मतलब नहीं कि हम हेल्दी ना रहें, हेल्थ का भी ध्यान रखिए आप लोग, ये भी बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि श्रीला प्रभुपाद के बहुत सीनियर डिसाइपल्स बीमार हैं। यू ऑल्सो नो, हम लोग ट्रैवल करते हैं वेस्ट में, दे आर सो सिक ऑल ऑफ देम। सो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने बोला था कि ऑस्टेरिटीज करो बट हेल्थ का भी ध्यान रखो, स्पेशली आज के जमाने में। सो हम लोग तपस्या भी करें, हेल्थ का भी ध्यान रखें, मगर उनके भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर से रियल, उनके हिसाब से तपस्या कम खाना नहीं था, उनके हिसाब से तपस्या थी गुरु के मिशन को आगे बढ़ाना। दैट्स मध्वाचार्य, हरि कार्य साधक। हम लोग भक्ति की डेफिनेशन देते हैं, हमारी है भक्ति की डेफिनेशन, बहुत सारी डेफिनेशन है, बट अन्य अभिलाषा शून्यम नहीं। मध्वाचार्य ने डेफिनेशन दिया हरि कार्य साधक, हरि के कार्य को जो आगे बढ़ाता है वो भक्त है। ये भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर का मूड था, ये हमें सीखने को मिलता है। और आई थिंक आप लोग प्लीज उनके बुक पढ़िए, उनकी लाइफ हिस्ट्री, फिलॉसफी देखिए। आपने एंड में यहाँ पे कर रहा हूँ, भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को पूरी लाइफ में किसी ने हंसते हुए नहीं देखा था। Nobody saw him. Nobody saw him laughing. In fact, भक्ति रक्षक श्रीदेव गोस्वामी महाराज से किसी ने पूछा कि आपके गुरु भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर कभी हंसते थे? ही his response, immediate response was, immediate response था कि कहा था, उन्होंने कहा, immediate था, निताय गौर। उन्होंने कहा सपने में भी हम सोच नहीं सकते कि वो हंस सकते थे। Never, nobody saw him dancing. He was standing in one corner watching. इसका मतलब है कि हमें डांस नहीं करे, हम हंसे नहीं। मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि कॉन्टेक्स्ट, भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर क्योंकि वहां पे सभी नाचते थे, सहेजिया लोग, वो उनकी फाइट उनसे थी, तो उन्होंने कहा भैया हम नाचने गाने में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं, हम सिद्धांत में इंटरेस्टेड है। अब ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर नहीं, अब तो हमारी फाइट सहेजियों से नहीं, अब तो हमारी फाइट किससे है, मेटलिस्टिक लोगों से। सो हम वो कर सकते हैं। सो ही ऑल्सो, उनका जो मेन जो पॉइंट है सिद्धांत में वो है दृग दृश्य विचार। मेन पूरी फिलॉसफी का समरी ये पॉइंट है। अगर आपने समझ लिया, आपने भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को समझ लिया। दृग दृश्य विचार उनका अपना बनाया हुआ कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, प्रकरणम है वो दृग दृश्य विचार। मायावादी उसको ऊटपटांग तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करते हैं। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कहा इसका मतलब ये है कि हम लोग यहाँ पे भगवान को देखने नहीं आए। सुना है ना, हम लोग इसलिए आए भगवान देखें, इसको दृग दृश्य कहते हैं। His whole philosophy is based on this. अगर आपने एक चीज पढ़ ली, आप भक्तिसिद्धांत वैभव के 3rd वॉल्यूम का चैप्टर पढ़िएगा, स्पेशल चैप्टर रखा है, आपने समझ लिया तो आपने भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर लिया। अगर आपने नहीं समझा तो आपने कुछ भी नहीं समझा। He used to stand in the end. पास जीटी पास नहीं करते। तो कहते थे कि पास जाओगे तो भगवान आपको नहीं देखेंगे, दूर खड़े हो पीछे होते हैं उनके लिए वो आगे हैं, जो आगे होते हैं भगवान के वो पीछे होते हैं। यूज्ड टू स्टैंड बिहाइंड। उनका चश्मा था, उनको दिखाई देते नहीं थे भगवान। तो एक बार वो चले गए तो डिसाइपल ने कहा मैं आपके लिए चश्मा ले आऊं। तो भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर ने कहा तुम बेवकूफ हो। क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे भगवान देखने नहीं आए, भगवान मुझे देख लेना। आप आज के दिन अगर आपको समझना है तो इस पे मेडिटेट कीजिए, ये सब दृश्य विचार भक्ति सारी फिलोसफी। एक प्रभुपाद जी थे इलाहाबाद में पंडाल प्रोग्राम में, एंड ही मतलब विनोद थे, तीर्थ महाराज थे, सब बैठे हुए थे। जो रिच लोग होते हैं ना उनको भी अलग लाइन लगती है। तो एक आदमी डोनेशन देती है, घूम रहे भक्ति वाला तीर्थ महाराज घूम रहे हैं। सुंदरानंद ने उससे बोला भाई क्या कर रहे हो, प्रसाद ले रहे हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि तुम प्रसाद को खा रहे हो, प्रसाद तुम्हें खा रहा है, और डोनेशन दी थी। सीधा गया भक्तिसिद्धांत को, उन्होंने बोला कैसा पहले आपको, मैंने इतनी डोनेशन दी है, मुझे बोल रहा है तुम प्रसाद खा रहे हो, मैं प्रसाद खा रहा हूँ। भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर उसको बोला सो हम ये भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के मेन डिसाइपल श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने बोला था, प्रभुपाद जब कलकत्ता आए, आई थिंक एग्री और ब्रह्म ये बुक्स मेरे लिए लिखी है, जो उनकी बर्थ है, क्योंकि उनके बर्थ एट लार्ज तो फिर स्कॉलर सर मेरे एज को। सो हम भी परंपरा को समझने की कोशिश करें। श्रीला हम समझ सकते हैं भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर के द्वारा, भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर को समझ सकते हैं भक्ति भाग के द्वारा। ऐसे भी परंपरा सेंडिंग भी चलती है। भक्ति तो देखेंगे तो प्रभुपाद ये ज्यादा, प्रभुपाद के आंख ने उनके गुरु, इसलिए उन्होंने परंपरा जान भालो सुन वैष्णव, वो सॉन्ग क्या है कैसे, वैष्णव नहीं नाम क्या उस सॉन्ग का मैं भूल गया, वैष्णव कुछ नाम है, कृष्ण है तो चतुर्मुख, परंपरा जान भालो मते। सो वी कैन ट्राई टू टेक ब्लेसिंग्स भक्तिसिद्धांत। जो मैंने प्रैक्टिकल चीजें बताई है उसको अपनी लाइफ में कोशिश कीजिए। जितना हो सके, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, 100% तो हम कर ही नहीं सकते, हम सब तो यूजलेस लोग हैं। है नहीं, यूजलेस है नहीं है, मैं तो हूँ, चलो। हम सब भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर की डस्ट भी नहीं है, शायद वो बन भी नहीं सकते, बट हम कुछ उनको प्रेस करके कुछ शायद अपने माइंड में कुछ ला सकते हैं। मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि आप सब ये सब इस पे आज जाके चिंतन कीजिएगा, और ये प्लीज उनके बारे में पढ़िए, उनकी फिलोसफी जो बुक्स हैं, उसकी लैंग्वेज आई थिंक निकाली है उन्होंने शायद, एब्राइज्ड वर्जन भक्ति संत वैभव की, आप देख लीजिएगा, नेट पे तो बहुत कुछ है, प्लीज रीड दैट। एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच, मुझे भी ब्लेसिंग्स दीजिए, मैं भी कुछ कर पाऊँ शिला प्रभुपाद भक्ति संत के लिए। लाइफ जारी है, हमें पता भी नहीं लगा कि हमारी एज, हाउ मच ओल्ड यू आर राधेश्याम प्रभु? 56? You don't look like that. You look like 40 something. Interesting. मैं भी हो गया हूँ 48, 47 का। So life ऐसी चली जाएगी। So spend time, understand जितना हो सके, हम जो हेल्प कर सकते हैं कर लेंगे। So एक रिक्वेस्ट है बस कि मैंने जो बोला है अभी तो केवल सिर्फ एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट दी है, कुछ बोलने को तो बहुत कुछ है, और भी डिवोटीज हैं। मैंने कल एक टॉक दी थी, एक पॉडकास्ट है केसी टॉक्स, मैं उस पर रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहा हूँ आजकल, मैं रिलीज करूंगा पूरी गीता, पूरी भागवतम, पूरा चैतन्य चरितमृता। आप लोग यूट्यूब पे जाके टाइप कर सकते हैं केसी टॉक्स, स्टूडियो हम रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं, कुछ मैं कर रहा हूँ। तो उसमें मैंने एक भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर पे डिटेल्स में कुछ बताया है मैंने। सो आपको डिटेल्स में जानना है तो आप वहाँ पे लॉग इन करके यूट्यूब पे केसी टॉक्स पे जाकर देख सकते हैं, दैट्स वन टॉक। और मेरा चैनल है, उस पर भी जाके सुन सकते हैं, और नेट पे बहुत कुछ है, द आइडिया इज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। थैंक यू वेरी मच आप सब वैष्णवों के लिए यहाँ पे इनवाइट करने के लिए। राधेश्याम प्रभु, थैंक यू और अलाइंग दिस। हरे कृष्णा, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you, His Grace Keshan Dhru. We felt very fortunate. We felt more close to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. Roji has so nicely shared the pastimes and lessons from his life. Thank you, Roji. Next, we would like to request His Grace Vedant Chetan Dhru to please come and speak.
हरे कृष्णा। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणाम्। हरे कृष्णा। This morning we were hearing from Srila Prabhupada about Bhaktisiddhanta's, on the eve of Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance day. It was 1977 and Bhaktisiddhanta was born in 1874. So there was some discussion was going on amongst Prabhupada disciples. It is 103rd or 104th, like that. So Prabhupada actually began the whole lecture with that conversation. He said it doesn't matter whether it is 103rd or 104th, 105th or 1st or 2nd, because these great personalities, they don't come like us. They come like Krishna, because they're always serving Krishna. Their Leela is also called Nitya Leela. Just like Krishna's Leela is called Nitya Leela, their Leela is also called Nitya Leela. They come as a special messengers of Lord Krishna. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is one such a person, that he is an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was sent by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the prayer of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, that we have heard from many devotees about various pastimes of Bhaktisiddhanta and the core teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And if we want to know more, we can try to understand from hearing from various sources or reading various books. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for a Gaudiya Vaishnava, or those who are practicing Gaudiya Vaishnavism, aspiring to be part of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, he is a great emotion, Bhaktisiddhanta. You think of Bhaktisiddhanta, an emotion comes out in your heart. What is that emotion? I feel like that. What is that emotion? When I think of Bhaktisiddhanta, what comes out prominently in my heart is that he stood for truth. He stood for truth. He did not change one little thing from the scriptures to suit the audience. The devotee was, Keshavananda Prabhu was telling that his first day attendance was 500, second day attendance was 100, third day attendance was 2 people. Maybe it may not be exactly, it may be a little exaggeration, but nevertheless, the principle is same. The principle is that they could not tolerate when Bhaktisiddhanta was speaking. And he never smiled. There was only one video that I saw, Bhaktisiddhanta's. I don't know whether anyone has seen that video. Have you seen that? Speaking. I mean, the audio was not there, but there was only one video because Bhaktisiddhanta left in 1937. So at that time, video technology was very, very primitive. Audio video synchronization was not there at that time. There was only one video that I saw. And in that 3 minutes or 4 minutes video, his whole demeanor was, this is all that you can see. You can't hear anything because there is no audio. But that was his demeanor. So he was Simha Guru. When some astrologers, who were very reputed astrologers, came to argue with him, at the end of the argument, they would immediately go to toilet to pass urine and stool. That he would shake them up by his argumentation. So that is one part of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was a very, very, very strong preacher. He was very, very, very clear in the Siddhanta and all that. There's another side of Bhaktisiddhanta which many of us do not know. How soft-hearted Bhaktisiddhanta was. How accommodative Bhaktisiddhanta was. One time, one of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's sannyas disciple, who was living in the Matha, his wife came and he snatched him away. He took him away. And when he took him away, Bhaktisiddhanta was crying and said, I could not save one of my disciples. You would never find Bhaktisiddhanta smiling, but you would never find Bhaktisiddhanta crying. But he cried on that day that I could not save one of my disciples. That's how soft-hearted Bhaktisiddhanta was. There was another instance that I remember, which I heard, was that there was one very lazy fellow, useless fellow in the Brahmachari ashram. which Bhaktisiddhanta would not like anybody to be lazy in the ashram. So some of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta came and complained to Bhaktisiddhanta, this fellow is the most useless fellow in our ashram, we should drive this fellow away. And what was Bhaktisiddhanta's response? He may be useless in many ways, but he wears dhoti very nicely. That was his response. That was his response. So he was so optimistic about a person's growth in Krishna consciousness. So this is the softer side of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We mostly hear the strong side of Bhaktisiddhanta, but this soft side is not known to many. A Vaishnava is said to be Vajradi Katinaha Padmati Komalaha. He is stronger than a thunderbolt, but he is also softer than lotus flower, lotus leaf, lotus petal, I mean. So this is the other side of Bhaktisiddhanta. So whenever we think all these things are very beautifully balanced in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's personality. One thing that I deeply appreciate about Bhaktisiddhanta is the way that Bhaktisiddhanta spoke and then convinced Prabhupada to come out of Gandhi's influence. That was in 1922, first time when Prabhupada met. And Prabhupada was walking, Abhay Charan was walking to the Bagh Bazaar, I think. That was the mutt. Bagh Bazaar mutt? Was it Bagh Bazaar? Ulta Danga. It was Ulta Danga. So at that time when he was walking, we all heard this, that Bhaktisiddhanta told, these two people were there, Naren and then Abhay, both were coming. Young and educated people like you should go to the West and preach Lord Chaitanya's philosophy in English language. That was his instruction. So Prabhupada, he was shocked to hear something. This person does not know me, but he is giving me instruction to do this. And the background influence that he had was that who will listen to us? Our country is ruled by the Britishers. Who will listen to us? So after the lecture was over, he went and met Bhaktisiddhanta. And Bhaktisiddhanta invited him and they both had a small chat. And then he expressed the same. Prabhupada said, Abhay Charan said that, Swamiji, you are saying that, this bhakti cult should be spread in the Western countries. Forget about Western countries. Even in India, we cannot spread it because Indians are ruled by the Britishers. First, the British rule must go. Then we can preach God consciousness. This was Prabhupada's proposition to Bhaktisiddhanta. A thunder-like words came from Bhaktisiddhanta. And what was that? Krishna consciousness is so important and urgent that it cannot wait for any social change. It takes a while for us to understand what it is. His conviction is so strong that nothing more important than Krishna consciousness is required now. Not independence, not some social change of this and that, not economic development. None of these things can precede Krishna consciousness. That was his conviction. And because Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna, and he was also sent by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's like a fire falling on dry grass. Then immediately that spark came out. So that sentence of Bhaktisiddhanta sparked his forgotten or his covered vision of what he should do in his life. So immediately he felt so happy and he said, Lord Chaitanya's teachings are in right hands and he is my spiritual master. This is the emotion. Whenever I think of Bhaktisiddhanta, this is the emotion that I get. That he created such an emotion in Prabhupada. Because of Prabhupada, we are all here today. That one exchange. That means the spiritual master should be so potent that he can bring about change in the lives of people. Even if one person can change, the change is enormous. And Srila Prabhupada, that is why he writes in the Bhagavad Gita introduction that by reading these books, even if one person becomes a pure devotee, I consider my writing of all these books is successful. And it's not one. There are many, many hundreds of, thousands of people who became pure devotees just by following Prabhupada's teachings. And one very interesting thing that I found and very, very inspiring for me about Srila Prabhupada, his reference to Bhaktisiddhanta. In simple ways, Prabhupada would talk about his guru. He is gold, I am iron, he would say. And in another place he would say, if at all you want to give me credit, then the credit you can give me is that I did not deviate from what my Guru Maharaj has taught me. This was Prabhupada's assertion about his relationship with his Guru. So these few things that can tell us their relationship between Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada. And for all of us, for ordinary people like us, we are very indebted to Bhaktisiddhanta, at least for two things. There are 100 millions of things that we can be grateful, but there are two things that I feel we are very indebted to Bhaktisiddhanta. One of them is that Bhaktisiddhanta is the one who gave the whole Guru Parampara. How many of you know this? That Prabhupada has, lined out those 34 gurus right from Krishna, which is on the 34th page of Bhagavad Gita as it is. This was actually given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That means, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. So that means our identity, and we can stand up and say that I belong to this parampara and these are my parampara acharyas. You can say that only thanks to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati because of him. And this parampara is not some kind of a sentimental parampara or some kind of a biological parampara or something like that. Bhaktisiddhanta, he gave this parampara based on siksha and true inspiration that each person got from the previous acharya. It's very interesting. Lord Nityananda is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then there are other acharyas who are there. You'll be very confused. If you go by the present system, you'll be very confused. What is this parampara? The parampara is completely based on inspiration. It is not based on some kind of ritual or something like that. So that is one thing that I feel very, very grateful to Bhaktisiddhanta, that he gave us identity. And there is another thing that we can very confidently say that I'm trying to be a Vaishnava, though I may not be born in a reputed family. Somebody may be born in a very, very low family, doesn't matter. But just by sticking on to Krishna conscious process as given by acharyas, you can actually be a guru. Shatkarma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharadaha avaishnavo gurur nashyad vaishnava swapacho guru. This respectability is not just like that came. Please understand, it's not that we are chanting Hare Krishna so people will come and fall at our feet and like that. This respectability is earned by these acharyas and handed over to us. Today, when you are having this dress, when you have Kantimala, people are coming and asking, saying Panditji or Prabhuji or something like that. Earlier it was not like that. Vaishnavism was in such a dangerous situation, it was. In fact, the very people who are wearing this kind of a dress were doing most horrible things. So Vaishnavism was lost to the Sahajiyas, as many of our previous speakers have spoken about it. And it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who tried to snatch that Vaishnavism from the hands of these people who were Sahajiyas. And then he prayed for a ray of Vishnu, a powerful devotee, to come and then establish this. So then Bhaktisiddhanta came, and Bhaktisiddhanta was born, as Radheshyam Prabhu was saying, when he was 6 months old. The Jagannath Rath Yatra was happening in Puri, and then cart was standing in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house because he was the magistrate. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Bhagavati Devi, his wife, to take this small child and in front of Lord Jagannath, and then in front of Lord Jagannath, when he was taken, Lord Jagannath's garland directly fell around the neck of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And there on the cart, this Annaprasana ceremony was done, and a lot of things were kept in front of the child, and then immediately the child crawled and then touched Srimad Bhagavatam. This was Bhaktisiddhanta. And the astrologer said that I have seen many personalities' charts, but this is a very unique personality. I have never seen a chart like this. This is a great Maha Bhagavata, or a great devotee. This person will spread Krishna consciousness far and wide. That was the prediction of the astrologer. Bhaktisiddhanta was just 2 years old, 3 years old. At that time, 2 or 3 years old, at that time, the mangoes were brought and they were about to be offered to Krishna. So, Bhaktisiddhanta is a small child, 2-3 years old child, what will they know? And he just took that one of the mangoes, about to put it in his mouth. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, my dear child, this is first to be offered to Krishna, only then you can take it. And he would remember that to the entire life. And he said, I am an offender. I am an offender. What was about to be given to Krishna, I tried to snatch it away. So for the rest of my life, I will not touch mango. 2-3-year-old boy. It is definitely not one of us. He is not definitely one amongst us. He is someone who is sent by Krishna. So, like that, if you see, there are many things that you can, talk about Bhaktisiddhanta. There are many devotees who are very scholarly, who read so many things about Bhaktisiddhanta. But the second point, the first emotion that I feel is that he actually gave us an identity to all of us. One is in the sense of being connected to Parampara. The second identity that he gave to all of us is, no matter to which class, creed that you belong to, if you actually become a Krishna conscious devotee, Krishna will accept you. It doesn't matter whether the society accepts you or not. But Bhaktisiddhanta fought for the acceptability of a Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He was to be killed, as we heard, that there was an inspector who was given 25,000 rupees in 1930s. Can you imagine what is the cost of it now? 25,000 rupees was offered so that he could be killed, because he was so strong on these caste Goswamis. These are one class of people who say that we are the only authorized people to worship Lord Nityananda. There are Nityananda Vamshis, there are caste Goswamis, there are Mayavadis, there are Britishers, there are other people who are always against Bhaktisiddhanta because his teaching was so strong based on scripture. If someone speaks very strongly, 100% guaranteed there will be a lot of enemies. And Bhaktisiddhanta would earn a lot of enemies. But he was so fearless. He knew that Krishna is with him. The other devotee, Keshavananda Prabhu, was saying that, in Bangladesh or Burma, I don't remember it, he was saying at Bangladesh, that when two devotees were sent and they were speaking about, the existing Sahajiyas and also the demigods, the whole people, they came to attack both of them and then kill both of them. And when this news reached Bhaktisiddhanta said that, I'm very proud of them, their preaching is successful. If you bring the same situation now, you know what you will get? You have destroyed the preaching opportunity in that place. You are banned for 6 years not to preach Krishna consciousness. This will be the verdict that you will get. But Bhaktisiddhanta is a very, very revolutionary. In many ways, he is revolutionary. I don't want to take too long. One last thing that I will say and close. Because of the scholarliness of Bhaktisiddhanta, many great scholars would come and would discuss with him. Some of them would argue with him. One such professor, he had some doubts. So he wanted to clarify Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur with Bhaktisiddhanta. So when he was coming and passing through the quarters and he wanted an appointment with Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktisiddhanta would, he said that, right now I'm busy, you go in the kitchen and assist the devotee in the kitchen. So his false ego was very deeply hurt. He was a big scholar and he came to talk to Bhaktisiddhanta and he was indicating him to help one of the most insignificant. So in his idea, he was one of the insignificant fellow. And he has to become an assistant of that fellow. Already one person, in his eyes, he was an insignificant man, and you have to become an assistant of that fellow. So he gathered all his humility and he went there. And then he really assisted that fellow, whoever is that devotee. And that devotee told him, you cut the sabji like this, and then you go and clean the pots, etc., etc. And when that service was over, this scholar came out of the kitchen. He was going out of the matha, and he was passing through Bhaktisiddhanta's quarters. Bhaktisiddhanta came out and asked this man, did he clarify your doubts? Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta said that you go and assist him, he will clarify your doubts. That's what he said. So after assisting, he came out and he was just going away, and Bhaktisiddhanta asked, did he clear your doubts? His answer was, he did not clear my doubts, but my doubts were cleared. That was his answer. So Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to prove to this person, no matter how scholarly you are, how educated you are, your doubts will be clarified only when you are in the mood of service. When you become a devotee of a devotee of a devotee of a devotee, then all your doubts will be clarified. He wanted to establish that point, and then he actually successfully could do that. And the scholar became the recipient of that principle established by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So like that, we can hear many glories of Bhaktisiddhanta. We are very proud. Devotees are not very proud, but we are very proud to have an Acharya like Bhaktisiddhanta in our parampara, whose glories we can boast on, and we can confirm our identity that, we belong. My father, when somebody asks you, what about your great father, grandfather, great-grandfather, we would say, my great-grandfather would go alone in the forest. He would take one stick and he would smash the tiger or lion or something, and then he would boast that it is a great thing to do. So each one of us can say, although we are not like that, but our great-grandfather is Bhaktisiddhanta, who shook the Britishers. And one of the conversation that I read, that one very tough fellow who is always criticizing deity worship as, what is that? You call it as idol worship. He was not only convinced about that, he was propagating in India that all Hindus are fools because they do idol worship. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, once he had a chance to talk to him, some arrangement was made. And then after discussing with Bhaktisiddhanta, he established to him that how we don't worship idols, we worship actually deities of Krishna. And deity is someone, that a great Acharya who invites Krishna, and Krishna mercifully come in the form of a deity. This I am only saying in an essence form. But if you read the whole of the argument between them, you will be astonished the way that Bhaktisiddhanta established that this is not just a vigraha, it is a deity. It's Krishna himself. And the end result was, this heavy-headed scholar, he came and prostrated obeisances he paid to Bhaktisiddhanta and accepted the fact that actually you are very intelligent people, you worship Krishna. One conversation, he would completely transform. That was Bhaktisiddhanta. He's such an empowered Acharya. Generally, we think today the standard is that how many followers you have in YouTube or in Twitter or whatever it is. Based on that, the person's greatness is ascertained. But Bhaktisiddhanta is not one person like that. Bhaktisiddhanta had great followers, and One such great follower was Srila Prabhupada. One moon is better than many stars. That he could get one such moon like. And Prabhupada's assertion about Bhaktisiddhanta, when he was traveling in Jaladuta, I never feel alone. I always feel the presence of my spiritual master in my heart. If someone becomes as great as Srila Prabhupada, after conquering the whole world and spreading the whole world about Krishna consciousness, with Krishna consciousness, whenever he thinks of Bhaktisiddhanta, his voice gets choked up, tears would come from his eyes. If you can achieve this from a person who is the most successful preacher in the entire history of humanity, and you become object of his love and adoration, then one can only imagine what is that kind of a personality. And that was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So today is his 150th appearance day. There was a huge program in Mayapur where there are so many Gaudi Mats are coming together. ISKCON was also part of that, and they were glorifying Bhaktisiddhanta. Just prior to this, some time ago, the Prime Minister of India was also called for the program, and then he also glorified Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's contribution. And it's our great good fortune to be the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. But as Keshavananda Prabhu was just saying, I really liked it, that it doesn't matter who your great guru, guru may be very great personality, but if you don't follow your guru, then you become completely useless. There are many people who can glorify guru, but when it comes to following the guru, what is the greatest following? The greatest following is you become an instrument to uphold the teachings, what they stood for. You become an instrument to spread the glories through the teachings that they held for many, many centuries. If that is what we can do, anybody can give donation, anybody can do personal seva, anybody can do many, many things, but this is very difficult to do. Standing by the principles that they have taught and become a live example of the principles that they have given. This is the most difficult thing to do. And such a follower would be the true follower. So, after glorifying Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada, and if we don't put our efforts in trying to establish what they have left for us and then take it to next generation, we would not be the proper followers of such great personalities. In fact, it will bring disrepute if we don't accept that teaching and then live those teachings. So thank you all very much. I took a long time, sorry. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Samveta Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki.
Thank you, His Grace Vedantchandra Prabhu, for helping us to develop that proper feelings and emotions for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So now we'll be having Aarti for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We request all devotees to stand up. And
He can put. Vedanta we can put. Who? Vedanta. They're going to worship. Give chance to you. I've seen it do it. Another. Use here. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisidhhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Yesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jai Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev. Nityam Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityam Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalava Kati Sadma Kundamaya Savadhanama Te Kundamaya Savadhanama Te Yahar prasade bhai ke bhavatariya ja. Yahar prasade bhai ke bhavatariya ja. Krishna prapti hoya hoy Krishna prapti hoya hoy Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Pitete Koriya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Pitete Koriya Aikya आर करे हमने आशा हारा करी हमने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ते प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा ते प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा कुदान मिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से कुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय हर चरित वेद गाय हर चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम नारा बंधु लोकनाथ लोके जीवाना हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पादा छाया देवयश गोशक्ति भुवना श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम नारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम नारा बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा दीवाना हा प्रभु कर दया देहो मोरे पादा छाया हो प्रभु कर दया देहो मोरे पादा छाया देवयाश गोशक्ति भुवना जय भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने